right, by now, guys, you know I love talking about old wrestling. What you might not know is it's not my real passion. My real passion is helping people save money. My real passion is getting families out of apartments and into houses. My real passion is getting people's finances aligned so they can retire on time. I hated going to Walmart and seeing the greeter being 80 years old. She should not be working. She should be home. Why is she still working? Because she still has a mortgage. I want to help avoid that for you. The other thing I want to help you with, let's make sure your kids don't get saddled with student loans. If you've got a student loan, why did you get one? Maybe because your parents still had a mortgage. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm being sincere. There's only so much money to go around. What I want to help you do is figure out where you are right now and where you want to be long term. And I do it at SaveWithConrad.com. I've been doing mortgages for more than 20 years. And during all that time, we've helped tens of thousands of families change their life. I mean, routinely, we're helping our podcast listeners save $500, $600, $700, $800 a month. But more importantly, get them out of debt faster and with cheaper monthly payments. But if you don't think it can happen for you, let me just tell you this. We are not the bank. We don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. We're going to get you a game plan on how to improve your credit, how to save a little bit of cash, and how to get into that dream house. Maybe you're already in the house, but it would be nice if someday we could put a pool in the back, or one day we want to upgrade to hardwood floors, or remodel the kitchen, or get a badass master bathroom. I can help you do all of that with no money out of pocket right now at SaveWithConrad.com. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket. And if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. Check it out, SaveWithConrad.com, NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. And hey, y'all, don't take my word for it. Check us out. We've got an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. And as if that's not enough, go look at our reviews. Read them and weep, haters. ConradReviews.com. You'll see more than 1,000 5-star reviews. Our average review is 4.72 stars. Find out how much money you can save. Take control of your life in 2023 by taking control of your finances. We're going to show you how to keep more of your own money. If you've got credit card debt, what are you paying on that? 14%? 28%? You know you can do better. With the mortgage, though, you may not know this, the interest you pay is tax deductible. And we can even show you how to skip your next 2 house payments. So if you can get a lower monthly payment, pay your debt off faster, get a greater tax deduction at the end of the year, and right now, right after the holidays, skip your next 2 payments, buddy, this is the biggest no-brainer in the history of the world. Find out how much money you can save right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com, or hey man, shoot me an email directly, Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com.
Hey guys, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley here, and I need to call a quick timeout, a brief timeout, because I wanted to tell your listeners what I have been telling Foley is Pod listeners for a while now about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
Ad-Free Shows gives you early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts, including The Snake Pit with Jake Roberts. This week, The Snake welcomed the devil himself, Kevin Sullivan, to the program.
I'm ready to go out, and I see Ming coming back, and all of a sudden, they threw a cinder block and hit him on the shoulder from the roof. He dropped to a knee, but he just shook it off and came in. If they had hit him in the head, it would have killed him.
David Crockett joins Conrad for an all-new edition of The Book, as they go day by day through February 1985 with the help of Jim Crockett's original booking logs. And what a pivotal month it was, as WrestleMania 1 is right around the corner, and Jim Crockett Promotions is running in Vince's own backyard.
In that area, knew him, knew his reputation. It's a working class audience. They like the style of our wrestling, and you put Dusty and Backlund together. They're, opposites, but they attract, and they make it work.
This month marks the 35-year anniversary of one of the most memorable angles in wrestling history, the famous twin referee angle on the main event. And Ad-Free Shows members got to watch it back live alongside Earl Hebner on our latest premium watch-along event.
I got to use Andre's dressing room after all this happened, and Andre just loved me. I mean, he just wanted me basically always be his ref, and Hogan loved me to death.
That's just a small taste, a sampling, if you will, of what we have waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from. 4. See for yourself why ad-free shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now, right now, at adfreeshows.com. Yeah.
Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett, First Arcade, 605 NWA, TV title, Cajun, I'll meet up on Cal Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Team, Turner, Bonnet, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off center stage, Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro, New World Order, and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette, Champ, Vinnie, Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zigg's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chair. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when? WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
Time to watch some shitty old wrestling.
I love you for that. That's literally what I said to Tony before we clicked record. We were just catching up and talking about our real life and talking about stuff we can't talk about on the air, a little inside baseball. And then I said, okay, Tony, you ready to watch some old shitty wrestling? And man, it kind of describes what we're here to do. We're going to be watching WCW in 1998. 98 was a great year for WCW, the most profitable year in WCW history. This is the peak, but boy, we are just trying to get our feet underneath us. Goldberg is on the rise, but he's not yet the U.S. champ or, of course, the world champ. He's got some momentum, but it feels like all the momentum with this Sting storyline is now gone.
Yeah.
We limped through the month of January after a rather regrettable main event for the biggest show of all time, Starrcade 97. And now we're trying to pay it off at Super Brawl. It's a rematch between Hollywood Hogan and Sting. And we're going to settle this title situation once and for all, which we were supposed to do 2 months ago. But still, this is the go-home episode for that show. So, Tony, I'm ready to get going on this. This is a 3-hour Nitro. So we want you to fire up your Peacock and look up Nitro. Go to Season 4, Episode 7, February 16th, 1998. Hey, do you remember what you got Lois that year for Valentine's Day?
I sure did.
What'd you get her?
The old high hard one.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
No.
I mean, I know for sure that the rule of thumb for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I mean, you've told me this every Mother's Day. I would say, hey, what'd you get Lois? And you said hard dick and conversation, my go-to, but I didn't feel like talking today. So Season 4, Episode 7, Hard Dick and Conversation might be the name of this episode. Probably not. Might kill our YouTube algorithm. February 16th, 1998. Tony, do we have a fun countdown locked and loaded ready today?
Yeah, we sure do. And it's from DJ Turnup, who's given us a lot. He has now taken the open that Steph Chesney built for us and inserted in some of our moments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So DJ Turnup is bound and determined to get me to read rap again.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I know you do, which I ain't going to do. So,
well, what about for my birthday?
No. And let's go to this countdown.
Okay.
This week.
DJ, turn up!
Take a look at all the people we had. We could have charged something. They would have come in, wouldn't they?
How about if they didn't? Here's an idea. Run a fucking show somewhere else where people will pay. There's an idea. If they won't pay here, let's go where they will. It's a goddamn business, isn't it? Isn't the goal to make money in this raggedy motherfucker? No.
Can I ask?
The goal is for Eric Bischoff to feel like he's a big man. So now he's fucking trying to kill Roman Reigns on SmackDown?
Hey, is it me or do you get really fired up when you're talking about making money?
Tony Reed's rap. Sad moment to start this show, Tony. A little tribute to Louis Spicoli. Bro, did you fucking laugh right there during the tribute?
Yes. That second bell went clink.
What's wrong with you? Celebrating a guy's no longer with us, and you're over here giggling. They're showing us highlights of what happened last Thursday on Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
This is back when we were trying to establish Thunder, so it had big stars like Hulk Hogan, Sting, and Lex Luger, and the Macho Man.
Didn't last long.
No, a couple weeks later, it would just be Hector Garza and the like.
Well, there's that open. Yeah.
Yeah, the iconic big fiery open. Let's track just a moment of it. And let's listen to You're Welcome, because you're all on fire to start.
I can't wait.
Wait no longer. The night has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you live to the Steinbrenner Event Center here at the Florida State Fair in Tampa, Florida. Welcome to WCW Monday Nitro. We're on the air for 3 solid hours live. And as you heard in the top of the program, we anticipate one of the biggest tag team events in the history of professional wrestling. Because tonight on this program, Hollywood Hogan and Sting and the Macho Man Randy Savage of the NWO will face Sting and Lex Luger of WCW.
Could you have fucked that up anymore? You think?
I don't know. That was pretty bad fuck up.
Oh, God. Will you stop? We loved you. I'm just busting balls. Jesus.
But you know, what has happened to my voice? I guess I've gotten old. I there's no way I can do that anymore.
Yes, you could.
No, I couldn't. No, absolutely could not.
You were putting on a voice there, Tony.
Yeah, but I can't put on that. I can't push it out like that anymore.
No, here you can't. You're thinking you got to go high. Just go low. You can do it. I'm telling you.
It's time for Monday. I gotta rattle in my fucking voice that I can't fucking get out. It's old age.
I hear you, but you're doing a quiet scream right there. You can do that.
Yeah.
It's where you just pretend to yell, but you don't really.
The Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Boom. Nailed it. You just did it.
You
You got it, baby.
Yeah. Hey, this was, you know what I remember about this show?
What do you remember about this show?
Florida State Fairgrounds.
Yep. Steinbrenner territory.
Steinbrenner territory. I got to meet George Steinbrenner, got my picture taken with Heenan, Tino Martinez, first baseman of the Yankees, was there. That's still in my baseball room downstairs. That's what I remember about this show.
Well, I'll be honest. There's not a lot of other great stuff on this show. I'm glad you have at least one good memory. It's a go-home episode for a pay-per-view that, probably should have been the payoff 2 months prior. I mean, here we are starting the show. And granted, this is a different era. It's a 3-hour Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
But we're starting the show with just recaps from Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't feel like the Nitro we fell in love with.
Yeah. I do need to say this
say it, Tony.
Let me say this because I don't like to talk about current stuff.
Oh yeah.
But at least I gotta say, at least we don't do this anymore.
No, yeah. Listen,
we do B-rolls when the guys are coming in, and we make it short and we go right to the action.
I agree.
So I just think
more action-packed, way less video stuff.
Yeah.
This segment would have been a lot better, though, if we could have had, as Hogan was talking, if the Macho Man just made like the blowjob symbol with his mouth and tuck his tongue at the side of his cheek. That would have really set this segment off. Like,
don't do me a favor.
Yeah.
Don't fucking piss me off.
You
don't fucking piss me off. So here, let's see what Tony Schiavone's saying right now.
Yeah, let's take advantage of this for once. Well, I'm sorry about that interruption. That's Hollywood Hogan's music. All right, let's take a good look and see if Savage walks out with him. That's what I want to know.
So the story is there's trouble brewing in the NWO. And remember, Tony, now this is before the Wolfpack is a thing.
Yeah.
So really it feels like before Kevin Nash had his own group, it certainly felt as if, and you see Dusty Rhodes there dressed in the NWO gear. How much of a misstep is that?
Jesus.
We could have had, at least it felt like to me, there could have been a split with Savage and Hogan here inside the NWO. We know later in the year we're going to get Nash and Hogan. But yeah, man, I kind of thought Randy Savage was going to set up his own. Or, because it didn't seem like he was embracing WCW. He was just going after the leader, Hulk Hogan, which is a story as old as the day is long in wrestling, I guess. Hogan versus Savage.
And I guess we wanted to recapture that. But,
for sure.
But my deal is this. We are 6 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
And we ain't done shit, dudes. And guess what? We ain't going to do shit either. I guess that having Hogan out in itself was big enough because he was the biggest star in wrestling. That was the thought, okay? Look at this motley freaking crew, would you?
Listen, you're getting all the big stars out there in the first few minutes of the show. I can't say that it's a bad thing. I want to remind everybody, this is the uninterrupted, there's no competition hour of Nitro. So we're still an hour away or 50 something minutes away from Raw starting. So at this point, we're just trying to establish, okay, all the big stars are here, or so I suppose.
Yeah.
I just like, it feels like when I liked Nitro the best, it was 2 hours and we started more often than not with a hot lucha match. And then we would settle into some story, but we were starting with some fun action.
Yeah. And that's what we should do. And of course, we armchair quarterback. That's kind of what this show is about.
Yes, all of them. Every wrestling podcast is
about. Of course it is.
Armchair
about what we would do different.
So let's also mention this is a drive for Hogan. No private plane required. Tampa, he can just bebop up the road right here.
Yeah, we probably sent a helicopter for him though.
Oh, of course, probably a gold-plated one if I had to guess.
Yeah, more than likely.
And of course, he's just laying the gauntlet. He's talking about Super Brawl. They're going to try to really sell it. Sadly, this is the first show after we lost Louis Spicoli.
Mm-hmm.
What was the vibe when Louis died so young in WCW?
I'm trying to rack my brain about it. I think we were all shocked that Louis died, but I think we all realized that he was headed that way because he was drugged out a lot.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've told you the story where I saw after a show, like 7 o'clock in the morning, somebody knocked on my door, and it was the security, and the security says, "Do you know this gentleman?" And it was Louis, who was literally in the hallway trying to climb the wall.
Oh.
Out of his freaking mind. And I said, yeah. I said, do you want him to come in my room? He said, well, he obviously has caused a disruption here in this hotel. And Terry Taylor, I don't know if he can't remember if he came out of his room or came up the elevator. And he said, Louis, come with me. And we had trouble getting Louis even to move. I mean, he was like completely out of his mind. and we opened the door somewhere and threw him into bed beside of someone. And it wasn't the first time that Louis had been drugged out of his mind. So we knew that he was,
Oh man,
that he had been drugged, or he had been taking drugs. And it was, so I don't think anybody was, I think we were surprised maybe that he passed away, but I think we all knew that he needed help, and we didn't know how far it would go. And obviously, there you go. Louis was a pretty talented kid in the ring. I mean, it's been well established that he did some commentary with us that didn't work out. But also, his hero was Chris Farley. He was almost like our Chris Farley in a way. And he went kind of the same way Chris Farley did. So,
man,
tragedy.
Yeah. So freaking young. Somebody passed away in their 20s. Tony, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to understand what the culture was like in 1998. This is before it was commonplace to quote unquote send guys to rehab in wrestling.
Yeah.
Was that, and we've heard a lot about the WWF program, you know, and how many folks they've sent over the years, and that they have a real process and procedure. Did WCW have anything like that in 1998, or was it still sort of old school in that you don't rat out the boys sort of thing, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, you don't rat out the boys. Oh, there's the Macho Man. Let's listen to what he has to say first.
Sure.
I'm going to beat Lex Luger. I'm going to beat Sting by myself really, really quick. And then I'm going to rock this place by beating you up big time. But I'm going to save just a little bit so that you can apologize to me and I can spit on you. Ooh, yeah. You know something, Macho Man? We got one thing in common tonight. We're in a match, and we both have one objective. I'm going to sting the stinger, and you're going to raise yourself to my level and get Luger right for the picking for the pay-per-view. But when that's said and done, Macho Man, when the ring's cleared out, I'm going to take you, rip that headband off your bald head, and give you the beating of your life. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, no. See you in the ring, brother.
All right. Well,
we are going to have a fight within a fight here tonight. What it is what it is. You're mine when this match is done, Macho. These two members of the...
I mean, here's two of the biggest stars of all time, and you're waiting on some big finish line, some go home line, something witty, something strong.
Had nothing.
And it's oh yeah versus oh no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this, don't get me wrong. Listen, I am 100% on board with, it looks like they're fixing to take a commercial. We will not. We're going to ride along with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a proponent of writers in wrestling, but I am a proponent of when it's good, it's good. And sometimes you don't need that. And sometimes you do. And I hate to even say it, but it feels like right there, Hogan and Savage probably could have used, look at Steinbrenner chilling.
Yeah.
Is that Linda Hogan right there?
I think it may be.
In my head, Hogan and Savage could have had a little promo help there. Some sort of go line.
Right.
Hey, take a listen to this.
Way to get your feelings on to Louis Spicoli. Well, I got some feelings, Tony, but in respect to Spicoli's family, we'll just let it rest. Just forget it.
Wow.
Very good. Hugh Morris.
I wanted you to hear that. Now, of course, in storyline, Larry Zbyszko had been at odds with Scott Hall and still is. And we're going to see a little bit of that later on this same show.
Mm-hmm.
Louis Spicoli had positioned himself pretty much as like Scott Hall's lackey and tag along.
Right.
So when I heard that, when I was watching the show this week again for the first time since 1998, it jumped out at me like, and I made a note to myself, crack the audio when Hugh Morris comes out to get slaughtered by Bill Goldberg, which coincidentally was Bill Goldberg's first opponent on Nitro back in September of 97. But still, Zbyszko didn't say anything at all. Just, I mean, you could say, all right, that was a kayfabe answer because I'm trying to keep up the storyline, or you could say what you said, with that other knowledge of, man, I don't want to say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's just keeping with the story, but still,
Yeah,
it came off like, which makes me think it probably caught you off guard too.
Yeah, it did, and it is not something we would do today.
No,
because we just wouldn't. No, we wouldn't do it. We were talking about, I think we were kind of talking about drug testing back then, or
Yes.
drugs back then.
yes,
I knew we had drug testing in place back then, but to be honest with you, I didn't. Wow, how about that bump Bill took? I wasn't as close to the guys in the locker room as I am now. Does that make sense to you?
yes.
Because of my job and talent relations now, I'm kind of more in tune with what's going on in talent behind the scenes, and I do spend time in, going in to saying hello to the guys in the locker room each week now. Back then, I just stayed away from them. So I couldn't tell you what went on in the locker room. I couldn't tell you if there were drugs being done. I mean, there's always talk that, wrestlers do drugs in the locker room. I never saw it, ever. Haven't seen it now.
Yeah.
So did that happen? I'm sure guys could have gone back to the bathroom and snorted a line or, injected themselves with something. It could have happened. But did I ever see it? No, absolutely not.
It sounds like an ECW thing more often than not when you hear people talk about doing drugs in the locker room.
Okay, so maybe so. And I can't comment on the ECW either, with the exception of saying that my favorite ECW wrestler of all time is Taz.
Well, 2 weeks ago, it was Raven.
Yeah, my all-time favorite ECW wrestler of all time is Raven.
8 seconds ago, it was Taz.
Did I say that?
Can we say it was a tie?
Yeah, it's a tie.
But I thought you were big on Dawn Marie and Francine too.
I like Francine.
Yeah. Francine had a few things you liked about her. Best I can recall.
We haven't talked about Francine in a long time on this show, have we?
No, I thought you guys had some sort of falling out or something, because you went from being excited about her impact on the business, and then not so much.
Well, I had a long conversation with Taz recently.
Oh, we're just skipping Francine. Shout out to Franny. You're a nice lady.
Okay.
Anyway,
well, hang on a second. I was thinking that the reason we haven't talked much about Francine is we haven't watched much ECW here.
That's true. That's true.
Taz had suggested that, and I don't know if we've watched it or not, the match with he and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, where he goes through the ramp?
Where it goes to the ramp.
The ring first, and then ramp later.
Yeah, right. And I don't know what show that was from. I think they went to Asbury Park and did it.
Living Dangerously, 1998, March.
Did we do that already?
I think so.
Okay.
But because I think I laid out and made it a surprise for you. I think it was one of the first things I showed you.
I think the ramp, I remember going through the ramp. I don't remember going through the ring. So,
hey, so we got the Outsiders coming over to the announce set, and they're going to take over here for a minute.
Okay,
I
go
want to
ahead.
track this. This is pretty fun.
Okay.
Hey. Make this short and sweet. It appears to me that we've been singled out once again by WCW. The Steiners say they'll take on anybody, but our name's not on the list. Seems a little bit kabuki-ish to us.
Don't they have you guys at Super Brawl? Can I interject something there?
Yeah, they got us in Super Brawl, but we want it tonight. Tonight.
Well, I'm not.
You outlaw my finish, you do this. It seems to me like you guys have singled out the Outsiders, and we're tired of it.
It's not us.
Yeah, it's your so-called committee, right? Who is in this committee anyway?
I don't know.
Who are you going to fly in this week? How about that guy in the skirt? How about you bring in the guy in the skirt? Maybe we can talk to him about it.
I don't have an answer for you. I don't know. I can't speak for the committee, but I can tell you that, I mean, 6 days from now, you'll get a chance to go in the ring. Why would you want him tonight?
Why would we want? Because it's our right to have him tonight.
Well, I'm not going to argue with him anymore. Please, finish.
You shut up, or we'll unplug your dialysis machine, old man. Get out of here.
Larry, do what you got to do here, fans. They want him tonight, and we can't give him a match. I mean, we're not matchmakers.
It seems to me you didn't do a very good job of unplugging anything last time. But anytime you want to scream uncle again, you let me know.
We'll be back.
So they're going to a commercial break. We're not. We're going to chat through it. But, man, that was a great segment right there. I love that.
That was funny. Unplug your dialysis machine, old man. Oh, that made me pop. A lot of Kevin Nash stuff made me pop. He was so funny and so cool. And people who know use Valvoline. Free plug, as you can see on TV.
And now we're back.
There's Linda. That's Linda Hogan, yeah.
That is Linda. That must mean next to her is Baby Brooke.
Wow.
How about that? Yet another recap of something that happened on Thunder. Not wrestling, but another Hogan promo. This is our third Hogan clip, and we've seen Hogan in real life in the ring, and we are 20 minutes into the program without the commercial break.
Who was I guess Kevin Sullivan was our booker back then?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Booker to a certain extent. I mean, they always put in what Eric wanted to.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
And Eric put in what Hogan wanted put in.
There you go.
It's like that verse in the Bible. So and so begat so and so begat so and so begat. A lot of begatting here.
Hey, so I think I should say something here, and I don't want to talk about current stuff, so I'll just say it and let it set, okay? And you can follow up.
I'll lay out. I understand.
No, you can follow up. I just wanted to congratulate Cody for making it the main event of WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Isn't that great? Good for him.
I love it. I'm super pumped for him.
Yep.
I thought he and Paul Heyman absolutely tore it up this past week on Monday Night Raw. Can't wait to see what they're going to do in the build as we get closer and closer. I think WWE is just clicking on all cylinders, and I'll tell you, when it comes to matches, you guys have had some barn burners too. I couldn't believe we saw Bryan Danielson and Tim Thatcher on TV a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thatcher's a guy I've been a big fan of for a long, long time. I remember Taz and I were talking about him on the phone like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm just a big fan. And I just like that you guys continue to give us those fun matchups that we didn't think we would see. And you want to talk about a big holy shit moment. The Acclaimed, almost like a modern day New Age Outlaws, just over like Rover, and the fans just in lockstep with them every step of the way. Get taken down by the Guns.
How about that?
It was a hush fell over that crowd. It was a real moment, and it was a monumental moment that a lot of people didn't see coming. And I think that's what makes wrestling great, man. That the element of surprise. Anytime Eric talks about what made WCW successful, what made Nitro successful, et cetera, he always talks about SARSA, SARSA.
Is that
and that was his formula for how to be successful in wrestling. And the first one, surprise. And buddy, you nailed it.
Yeah. Well, obviously I had nothing to do with that but I just think that there's a lot of good things going on in pro wrestling right now.
No doubt. No doubt.
And I do have a question. I did not see Cody and Paulie.
Oh, dude, you'll love it.
But did Paulie have a sandwich in his hand?
He did not. He had a microphone, and he did cry.
Yeah. Well, did he? That's because he hadn't had fifth breakfast.
You know what? I'll tell you what. You got to say it, so I'm going to say it to you. Don't you fucking piss me off. Hey, so why do you have heat with Beeges?
Who's Beeges?
It's like my gimmick pronunciation for BJ. Beej. I talked about Macho Man doing a little Beej symbol earlier, and you got like mad at me.
Oh, just I just do not want to be revolting on this show.
Oh, Okay. We'll class this shit up the rest of the way.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Mark Starr. What do I remember about Mark Starr?
You remember that he fucked up a diamond cutter?
Okay.
It was I think that's the guy who fucked up a diamond cutter.
He just fucked up a clothesline. Holy
I mean,
shit.
he can fuck up a wet dream. Let's just call it like it is.
Apparently so. I don't think Sick Boy wanted to go up and over that time.
What do you remember about Sick Boy?
I think he was really sick. And he was a boy, so that's all I remember.
From now on, I need you to remember this now. We say a lot of dumb shit on this show, but anytime I ask you anything about anybody, what do you remember about blank?
Yeah.
I want you to take those words and just reuse them back.
Okay.
It is the most bullshit thing of all time. We all did it in school.
Yeah.
You know, we would, like, the first line of our book report is basically what you just did right there. And I loved it. I mean,
yeah. What do you remember about Buff Bagwell? Oh, I remember he was buff.
He was buff, and his last name was Bagwell, which made me think of a baseball player named Bagwell.
Yeah, Jeff.
My point is, just do that what do you remember about Hulk Hogan?
Well, he was Hulk, and his last name was Hogan.
Yeah.
He was a Hulk of a man.
There you go.
Okay.
I think you got it down pat. I really do.
Yeah. This, this was not this was more like a barn. This place, it was like the
Steinbrenner Center or whatever.
Yeah, the Steinbrenner Center.
I thought you meant maybe where Mr. Starr or Sick Boy lived. Maybe they lived.
No. You know, I remember about Mark.
What do you remember about Mark?
He was a star.
No, he wasn't. He was probably a nice man.
Yeah.
I don't think even he would describe himself as being.
For some reason, I thought we ended up a live show, but referee's ass in the shot bugs me. Look at that.
Oh my God. Sick Boy nearly decapitated himself just running the ropes.
And the fans are just not into this at all, are they?
I'll tell you, why would they be? Like,
yeah.
He just beat him with a pedigree.
Oh, he kicked out.
He kicked out of a pedigree. No,
so,
he didn't.
Okay. I thought he did.
Wait a minute. Through the face. Wait a minute. Yeah. Sick Boy through the face looks like he's Adam Cole's uncle.
You know what? There is an Adam Cole resemblance there, isn't it?
Now, we've learned through this show, I think it was maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That Tony Khan had relatives in wrestling. And we've talked about, you don't even remember this, but Tejo Khan is his uncle. We know that. You know, one of the brothers went into the auto parts industry and became a billionaire. The other went to work for Jim Crockett Promotions. You see how that worked out.
Yeah.
But now we see that, look at that. Sick Boy is Adam Cole's uncle.
Well, there's something else that I probably, I don't know if I should bring up, but I think I need to.
Uh-oh.
My, one of my twins, John Michael, who, as we know, has left the family.
Oh.
You remember him coming to your wedding.
No, I do. I just didn't think we were just saying names on the show.
No, but the reason I say his name is that he and Tony Khan could be identical twins. Ask Lois. Lois met Tony Khan at, remember the birthday party we had at Jimmy's Famous Seafood?
I do.
She went, "Oh my God, that's John Michael." I went, "You're right." And there's sometimes that I'm talking to Tony Khan that I'm thinking I'm talking to John Michael. So I'm thinking that John Michael may have been a member of the Khan family, and they just sent him to us.
Boy, that would have worked out a lot better for him. You know?
Oh, you're not kidding. I wish I was a member of the Khan family.
You kind of are. You're like the adopted son.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal. If I'm a billionaire,
right?
I ain't running wrestling, dude.
You don't love it like Tony does. That's the difference.
I mean, I guess I don't. I'm on the yacht hanging out.
Well, but here's the thing. Let's say you've been on the yacht every day of your life.
Right.
Eventually, you're going to be like, I'd like to do some other stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe fly to San Francisco and have, I don't know, crab or...
You go to San Francisco for crabs? I go to Jimmy's in Baltimore.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can do that, but just fly to San Francisco because you can.
Now, is it true? We're talking about where the best crabs are, but I heard you were catching them left and right in West Virginia back in the day. Is that right?
No, I'm not. Hey, did you know?
You caught crabs? No, I didn't.
No. On my Wikipedia page, someone put I was from Craigsville, West Virginia. And I thought,
because you are.
I'm from Craigsville, Virginia. There is a Craigsville, West Virginia. But anyway, I saw that and I went, just let it sit there. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
You know, last week we were talking about things that you said we shouldn't be talking about earlier today. And you Googled how much one cost.
Right.
You with me now?
Yes. Okay.
Have you done any more research on what the cost for one of those are? Like,
no.
What's that running these days?
I haven't. No, I don't do that. I mean, I just did that to be part of the show. Once the show's over, I go back to
being a normal human,
hanging around, watching some Netflix with Lois, sleeping. I mean, I really try to, on the days that I don't have TV,
right?
I really try to just veg out because, I mean, those days that we do TV are so exhausting. They really are.
Brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long day.
Long day. I mean, Wednesday's a long day. Tuesday's a long night. Wednesday's a long day. Get up early.
Traveling home Thursday sucks.
Traveling home Thursday, work on Rampage. I don't work on it like the guys in Nashville do, but I do the punches, and then I watch the show that night. So Thursday's kind of a busy day. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we do our podcast normally on Sunday, record it. And Monday, it's like, fuck all, right?
Yeah.
I ain't looking up shit. So there. And then, of course, there's the lot of text.
Let me translate for everybody. What Tony said differently said what Tony said is, buddy, on Monday, I'm too tired to even Google blowjobs, much less try to go get one.
That's exactly. You're exactly right, JR. Yeah, I just, and then of course, with my job, I receive a lot of emails, a lot of texts. So, and sometimes you got to put out fires, and sometimes it's just listening to people talk to each other.
Here's something we never thought we would see: the Public Enemy versus the Outsiders. And look at them both trying to act like they're jacked up. I love the way Kevin Nash is standing right now, all bowed up.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong.
I won't.
Not too much longer before this, the Public Enemy were big time acts over like Rover in ECW.
Yeah.
But now here in WCW, and I know they had, a few years, but it never really felt like the place for them. They look like indie workers compared to everybody else. And I think that's mostly their gear, but I know the reason, I shouldn't say I know. I imagine the reason like Johnny Grunge is wearing this gear is he's probably not in the shape that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are in, but it felt like an indie version of the Nasty Boys to me.
Yeah, it felt like that they belonged in ECW.
Yeah.
And that's not talking down about ECW at all, but they were ECW guys and probably should have hung around there. I'm surprised, and I know Taz. I know Taz ended up going to WWE. I'm surprised we didn't try to get him. Did Eric ever talk about trying to bring Taz aboard?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I only say that I say that because as a shoot, I really enjoy working with Taz.
He's tremendous.
Yeah, he can get so angry, just like that. But if you really know him, you just appreciate
You laugh
who he
it
is.
off and you don't care.
Yeah, you
But if
appreciate
you
who
don't
he is.
know him, I can see how you would be worn out and take
Yeah.
it personally.
Yeah.
But once you do know him, you're just like, oh, it's Taz.
Yeah,
He'll be
it's
fine.
just-
He'll be fine.
Just have so much fun working with him. I really do.
He's gonna get mad at me and motherfuck me and threaten to
Oh,
come to
yeah,
the house
I
and
know.
kill me. And then an hour later, he'll be fine.
Yeah. He has a really good head on his shoulders about the business. He really does.
A great perspective
Yeah.
about taking it seriously,
Mm-hmm.
but not too seriously.
Right. Exactly.
And I think sometimes guys go too far on taking it seriously, but more often than not, they go too far on not taking it seriously enough.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the right balance.
Yeah. That's well said. Well said. Okay. So Public Enemy came out with the table,
Yeah.
which obviously is, it's not one of those, doesn't look like one of those breakthrough tables that we normally have. You
Well,
know?
I assure you it is.
Okay,
now,
I'm sure it is too, but it doesn't look like.
No,
Well,
it
here's-
doesn't look like it, but it's Gimmick Jones. And look at Dusty Rhodes sneaking up.
Uh.
Can you imagine Johnny Grunge? I'm sure he's like, Mom, be sure to watch TV tonight. I'm working against Diesel and Razor Ramon, and Dusty Rhodes is going to be out there.
That's a good call. That's big for these kids, right?
Oh my God, are you
Oh, yeah.
kidding?
Yeah,
Now this is an illegal move. Now don't forget the jackknife's been banned.
that's right.
Check right here. And Mickey J telling him, hey, you're going to get fined for a jackknife power bomb. And he pulled away from it. No, he
Oh.
didn't. He's gonna pick him up.
This takes some power here, dudes.
So what we just saw there is Kevin Nash jackknife powerbomb Rocco Rock over the top rope through a table where Johnny Grunge was laying on top of the table on the outside. So that's a DQ. The move is banned. Kevin Nash will have to now write a check. It's a big fine. Of course, Hulk Hogan has already said, I'll pay for him, brother.
Mhm.
And down go the Public Enemy. And what you know, what that table broke exactly right in the middle.
Amazing. I just again, Kevin Nash, he took some strength to get him up there over the
Oh, no
top
doubt.
rope.
And to hold him and
Yeah.
get him. Yeah.
Right.
Kevin Nash is the leader of the Not Here to Fuck Around crew. I know that there's a lot of smartasses online who think that it's cool to talk shit to him about him tearing a quad on Raw or whatever. But let me just say this. Don't fuck around and find out.
Well, they wouldn't fuck around and find out because they're cowards. They're behind a keyboard. It's the biggest way to be a coward in this earth is to be behind a keyboard and shit talk someone. Look at Rocco looking back, making sure.
Yeah. Because he didn't want to, shit.
Yeah.
How about that crowd, man? All these young kids excited about wrestling.
Yep.
Wrestling's a family thing, man. It brings them together.
A young kid, Spice, will you marry me? Yeah. Here's a Nitro party.
Who would you invite to your Nitro party? Let's say you were a fan and you got to ask for anybody to come visit you. Who would you ask for?
Anybody in the world to come visit me?
Yeah, well, yeah, for a Nitro party. Anybody in wrestling back then?
Oh, in wrestling back then.
That's what a Nitro party is. You don't say, "Oh, it's a Nitro party. Send me Jack Nicholson." That's not what.
Okay. I thought anybody. I was going to go with Scarlett Johansson first.
That's who I want for my Nitro party. Now she's 12, but if you can get her over here, that'd be great.
No, I thought now. All right, let's go to Mean Gene. Jesus,
what's wrong with you?
At WCW, and this time, in all due respect, Nick, I think that J.J. Dillon, the chairman of the executive committee, has got the upper hand. You're going to have to go to some measures to get reinstated. I understand you got turned down from doing another match here tonight.
I got turned down from working again tonight, and it's a big conspiracy, and it's a conspiracy that's about to come to an end.
Conspiracy?
A conspiracy.
That's a little strong.
Yeah, it's a little strong, but it is a conspiracy. Now, I want to compare this to the situation that Bill Clinton's in right now. Even the president of our great United States is not safe from character defamation. Now, somebody says he did this or they saw that. The media takes this misinformation and runs with it. Now, how do you think that makes his family feel?
Well, Obviously, there's been a little chirping going on there.
It makes his family feel the same way my family feels when you announcers come out here and spew lies about Nick Patrick. Because
I have never lied about you, Patrick.
It is all a right-wing conspiracy by J.J. Dillon. He set forth to assassinate my character and cost me my job. Now, earlier, I heard Hulk Hogan out here, and he made an offer to me to financially back me in my legal battle against the Turner Corporation.
That might be a good idea.
Well, now, if you think about it, that is a good idea, because you look at me. I stand alone. I am one man, Nick Patrick, standing alone against a corporation with thousands of lawyers. You know, try and get in and even sit down and talk to these people. They don't even want to talk to you. You can't even hardly set up a meeting. I've been turned down 2 or 3 times. It's a conspiracy. And Hulk Hogan, yes, I will take you up on your offer, because right now I need a good lawyer.
Well, somebody got to pick up that $250 or $300 an hour tab, but I don't know if you can do that. Nick Patrick, I thank you very much.
Hey, man, Nick Patrick did a great job right there. You know, I mean, you think about, I mean, I don't mean for this to sound the way it does, but he was, quote unquote, just a referee. The idea being he's not talking or cutting promos, but this is not your average ordinary referee. The son of Jody Hamilton, the assassin, you know, they were running the power plant, da-da-da-da-da. I mean, this guy has been around. And it came through right there. That was a really good promo for a quote-unquote referee. Goodness gracious.
Well, he's the son of Jody Hamilton, who's one of the great talkers ever. He really was. If you knew Jody, and if you remember the days of The Assassin, go back and listen to some of the Assassin interviews. Very rarely shouted, had a lot of great things to say. I always thought that we misused Jody. I thought Jody could have been a great spokesman. Someone even thought about making Jody one time a character. Who was that? I think maybe Neil Pruitt said, why don't we make him a character like the big boss, you know, behind a chair with a big cigar?
Yeah.
Where he wouldn't have to come out because, you know, Jody was very heavy and by this time he couldn't get around that well. But yeah, and so Nick really got into that. Well, really, I shouldn't say got into that, really was, he grew up with that. So he, like his father, he could talk. And I'm sure you found out in that podcast you did where you had Nick on. Nick is very, very well-spoken.
He's so well-spoken. He's now a regular part of adfreeshows.com. We're doing a twice a month bit with him where we just take your questions. It's a mailbag episode, just like we've done for years now at this point with Mike Chioda. But that was the WWF side of things.
Yeah.
Who better to tell us the WCW side of things than referee Nick Patrick? He, of course, has opened up Deep South Wrestling again, an organization that once upon a time became the power plant, and then once upon a time was developmental for WWE with guys like Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega.
Right.
So the idea that we've got Nick Patrick in the fold, yet another feather in the cap and another reason to join ad-free shows. Speaking of that, everybody from our WHW Monday Patreon and, of course, ad-free shows, we have got just a ton of folks riding along with us. I want to shout out Rajiv and Darren Stanley and Pondwater Dave and DJ Turnip and Mark Cyrus and James Elkery and Doug Ritter and on and on and on. Appreciate everybody riding with us. And right now we're talking over, if you're doing a watch along with us, Mike Enos versus Barry Horowitz. This is on Nitro. This is of no consequence. This is a really bad show now with 2 matches. I don't mean any disrespect to these guys, but you've got such a loaded roster, and we'll cram in all the stars in the NWO in the ring all together. But, boy, we got to make sure we got time for this Mark Starr and Sick Boy match, and now this Barry Horowitz match. Now, here's something fun. Mongo and Davey Boy, watch this.
Listen, son. And don't stand there drinking coffee when a man's talking to you, Davey boy. Oh.
Here we go again. It was a war of the world.
Don't stand there drinking coffee when a man's talking to you. And by the way, could Davey have held that coffee further out away from his body or what? It was the most obvious setup of all time. But when the line came out, don't just stand there drinking coffee when a man's talking to you, like that was some sort of, well, my granddaddy always said, don't just stand there drinking coffee when a man. What the fuck?
What the fuck was Disco Inferno doing in that shot?
It's a great call.
What? You know what he did? This is the type of weasel he was. He probably knew that shot was going to happen live. He just stuck his nose in there. Fucking no good piece of shit weasel. God.
Oh God. This show has a couple more interesting things on it that we're gonna get to see, including Sting in the main event. But here's one of my favorite parts of Nitro: the chairman. Check him out. La Parka coming out, playing air guitar with the chair. Dude, you want to talk about a luchador who stood out? And I know he's been a somewhat controversial figure in recent years, but dude, La Parka was the man when I was a kid back here.
Yeah, he had quite a gimmick, I guess is what I want to say. I don't know. And of course, he became in MLW. He became L.A. Park.
No, yeah. So there's two. There's La Parka, which I guess is owned by Tripla.
Yeah, Tripla.
And then there's the L.A. Park, which is a derivative. I think it's different enough.
I think the La Parka passed away, didn't he, last year?
No, I think L.A. Park passed away. No, I don't fucking know. Who cares?
Yeah, okay.
This guy's
hang
still
on.
alive.
Hang on. Yeah, this guy's okay. I've just looked it up. This guy, L.A. Park. This guy, La Parka, became L.A. Park, and he's still alive. The guy who was L.A. Parka died in January of 2020. So I don't know which is which. One of them dead.
The guy we're seeing right here on Nitro is still alive.
That's right. The other one died.
And he's banned from MLW.
Really? See, I don't know that story.
He got in a fight last year at their WrestleMania taping in Dallas. He was throwing a bunch of live rounds at Fatu.
Oh, okay.
And I would not recommend anybody ever throw a live anything at Fatu.
Yeah, I would think that the receipt for that would be worse than being fired.
Well, I think it was fired. It was either that or death. And they probably opted for the lesser of the two evils.
Okay.
By the way, Jacob Fatu, if you're listening to this and you don't know who we're talking about, go out of your way to watch it. I know that we don't like talking about current stuff, but MLW is on Reels now, and maybe you have that station where you are. But dude, if I'm starting a wrestling promotion tomorrow, Jacob Fatu would be one of the first guys I'd want to pick up. That dude's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So now, after we've seen some interesting matchups here on the program, we got Yuji Nagata wrestling La Parka.
Yeah.
And I love this. You talk about a young star. This is back when Yuji Nagata was a young star, because it's, goodness gracious, 25 years ago. But you got a young up-and-comer from New Japan Pro Wrestling and one of the top stars of Mexico here in La Parka. You weren't going to see this on Monday Night Raw. You just weren't.
Right. And Yuji was throwing some very good kicks and moves and early on, and they've done some good stuff already. So yeah, we got a
as we're talking through a really good match here. Let's answer a few questions from our
live crowd here.
Yeah, our live studio audience. Eddie Prather says, "Who would be on your Mount Rushmore of superheroes and supervillains, Tony?"
Well, my Mount Rushmore of superheroes would be Batman, Captain America, Iron Man, and Superman.
That's pretty good.
All right.
Pondwater Dave wants to know, do you still have that Nitro shirt, Tony? We saw you wearing a long sleeve button up with an embroidered Nitro logo. You still got that shirt?
You know, Dave, I had all the shirts, but I gave them to Goodwill. How about that?
Doug Ritter wants to know, what is Tony's favorite Sick Boy match?
The one we just saw, Doug. Thank you for asking that.
DJ Turnup wants to waste all of our fucking time and asks, do you have the new Gotham Knight video game? If so, do you like it?
I do have it, and I really don't care for it.
Rajiv wants to know, how would Conrad feel if Tony came to my wedding?
Yeah.
Well, I feel about the same as I do now, because we all know Tony's never going to come to my wedding. I'm actually going to renew my vows this year, Tony.
Yeah. Well, Rajiv had sent me an invitation. There you go, Rajiv. I got the invitation right here.
Not attending, Rajiv. Spoiler.
Yeah. So it's not that I don't love you, Rajiv. You're one of my favorites, but
You
I feel that if I go to somebody else's wedding, then Conrad will be more pissed off to me than he is already.
Just send John Michael to Rajiv's wedding.
Yeah, I wouldn't send John Michael to a funeral. Let's see.
Blockbuster. Disco Inferno is here, and he just nailed the Stone Cold Stunner, aka the Blockbuster. Now Eugene Nagata setting up the finishing maneuver here.
Here it is. He's got the Nagata lock on, and La Parka has to tap out. Well, the Disco Inferno has proved to be an ally.
A Blockbuster and the Nagata lock. What do you think of the Nagata lock?
Kind of figure four-ish to me. Yeah. Also, I do want to say that, again, probably Disco Inferno was not a part of that match, and he just decided it's live, I'll just get involved, because he's that type of weasel.
Just trying to get himself over.
Okay.
Real question here from Rajiv. He wants to know, how did Tony feel when Nitro went to 3 hours?
I felt like it was an hour too long. It was terrible.
Yet another recap. As we're going to commercial, Bret Hart makes Hogan's hit list. Of course, we never saw that. Why do you think we never saw Bret versus Hogan in a WCW pay-per-view?
Probably because Hogan didn't want to do it, I would think.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, isn't it?
It is unfortunate.
Yeah.
We're back. Let's track it.
Night this is turning out to be. We heard that Bret the Hitman Hart has just arrived, as we said earlier. The Nature Boy Ric Flair just arrived. Do you remember what's happened the last time these two men were in the same arena? You had to hold them back. You had to hold them apart from each other. That combined with Hollywood Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage being in a tag team main event against Lex Luger and Sting tonight, something is bound to happen as we head onto Super Bowl 8. What? We don't know, but you're going to want to stay with us. Anything can happen on the world's #1 professional wrestling program.
Man, she almost fell off that chair. How about that? Did you see that?
Sure. Well, I was watching Spice on the other side, but I did notice that she did almost fall off that chair. That was that girl on the left, and I can't remember her name, was Zabisco's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to Nitro enough, you'll have him talk about the little goddess. He called her little goddess.
Let me ask you something. Where Tuesday the 21st? Where will you be? Like, do you know?
This Tuesday the 21st?
No. This Tuesday is the 14th.
Next Tuesday the 21st.
Yes.
I will be flying to Phoenix.
Okay. I was going to invite you to a little gathering that Cassio Kid has organized called Fat Tuesday.
Oh.
And they're having it down at the Pony. And they're doing a little contest for plus-size bikini models.
Well, that would be worth the price of admission, wouldn't it?
And the winner, there is a requirement. You have to be at least 200 pounds.
Okay.
And the winner gets $5 per pound.
Wow.
Yeah. So they didn't specify gender. So me and Cassio we've been practicing our moves, and we're hoping we can invite Dave Silva down there. And we want to come out like we were a tag team.
Yeah.
We're going to call ourselves American Whales instead of American Males. And we've got a whole routine, and wanted you to be here to support us because, as you know, at $5 a pound, if it's a three-way tie, we could make some serious fucking money.
Sure could. And I'm so disappointed I'm going to miss that shit. I mean, miss that stuff. That
Fat
show.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday's Fat Tuesday here at my house.
Yeah, me too.
So now we got Billy Kidman versus Ultimo Dragon. You know, we were just sort of busting balls about some of the quality of the matches, but man, we just got La Parka and Yuji Nagata, and now Ultimo Dragon and Billy Kidman. This feels fun.
Yeah.
I love when Ultimo Dragon would do that spot in the corner.
Yeah, it was good. He was good, man.
I'd like to see you do that with Britt Baker on the top of a toilet. Like if she goes into a ladies' room and you're already in there upside down with your, and then she starts to come in and you just bloop, kick her right in the head.
Upside down in
Yeah.
a stall in a ladies' toilet.
Yeah.
I'll work on that right away.
I think Silva could probably Photoshop it if I had to guess. But I think it would be tremendous, dude.
Oh, God.
Old DMD needed to take a number 2.
Well, we got some, I don't want to talk about current stuff, but we got some really good female wrestlers in AEW right now.
Be sure to pick up your brand new shirt. I don't want to talk about current stuff. Available now at lowestrules.com. It is an official catchphrase now of what happened when.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about current stuff.com. Probably a landing page we'll have by the time you hear this as well.
How about this for a shirt? Shut the fuck up and listen to what I have to say.
Okay, ready for it.
Okay. That's the shirt.
Looking for an easy way to eat well and save money? Well, cut back on expensive takeout and delivery and get started with HelloFresh. You'll love how fast, easy, and affordable it is to whip up a restaurant quality meal right in your own kitchen. HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients and easy to follow recipe cards mean you can get a delicious home-cooked dinner on the table without all the time-consuming meal planning or prepping. You can customize your select meals by swapping proteins or sides. You can even add protein to a veggie dish. And now you can upgrade for organic chicken or even organic ground beef. Now this is something my wife got really excited about, and then we cooked together, which she didn't expect me to do. And buddy, it paid dividends. High five. I gotta tell you, it makes cooking a breeze. The part that I hated the most about this whole process without HelloFresh was going to the store. I don't want to go shopping together. And I dang sure don't want to come home and have to prep everything together. This is easy, man. We open the box and bam, let's get to it. I'm a big fan of the seared steak and potatoes. I recommend that. I know my wife likes the Southwest pork and bean burritos. If Silver probably likes those too. Can't recommend it enough. HelloFresh is fast and easy. I do it with my wife. I recommend that you do it with your wife too. I'm telling you, it pays dividends. Go right now to HelloFresh.com/WHW65 and use the code WHW65 to get 65% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/WHW65 and use the code WHW65 for 65% off plus free shipping. I can't recommend this enough. Seriously, try it one time. It's going to bring your family closer together. You're going to eat a better meal, and it's going to be fun. And oh, most importantly, you know me, it's got to be delicious. And this is, I cannot recommend it enough, America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh.com/WHW65. Use the code WHW65 for 65% off plus free shipping. It's what your sweetie really wanted for Valentine's Day. Make a little surprise return match next week and get her to put you over. HelloFresh.com/WHW65 and the code is WHW65.
I'd like to wear one of that around backstage. Watch out here. You know, we give Billy Kidman a lot of shit because of Tori. Right?
You do.
Yeah, I do. But Billy could go, man. Couldn't
Yes,
he?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Trained by those wild Samoans. How about that?
How about that?
It is crazy when you think about the influence that Samoan family has had on wrestling.
Oh my God, absolutely.
And then you think about the influence like your family's had on wrestling.
Yeah, which is like hardly none. Wow. I think Ultimo Dragon caught him in the face that time. I believe I believe that was a live round. Either that or he really makes a pretty good working punch. Don't know. So this is our go home show before Super Brawl, right?
Yeah, and we're trying to sell that Hogan storyline, but it feels like almost nothing else.
Yeah, man. It's just like Scotty Riggs over there on the left. Hair down his face, patch one eye, almost like he's asleep.
I heard recently that he was Scotty Riggs because he had a hairstyle like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, Riggs and Whip. Really? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wonder if
Scotty
his shoulder would come out of place too.
Scotty came to one of our shows recently. The last time we were in the Metro Atlanta area, saw him for the first time.
How's he doing?
He seems to be doing okay. Like all of us, he's aged, and
I don't know why it shocks you every time.
It does.
Oh my God, I haven't seen you in 30 years and you look like 30 years older.
No.
What happened? How did you age 30 years in 30 years?
It's like all these guys I work with, and if I haven't seen them since I haven't worked with them, it's like, oh my God.
You look different.
Yeah. It's like, do you do anything with your old graduating class in high school? You go to
I'm friends with Clint from Hershey.
That's it.
Yeah, one of my other friends is locked up in the federal penitentiary for life.
Okay. I was talking, look at this giant swing. I was talking more about like class reunions or anything like that.
No, I haven't done a class reunion.
Okay. We had a class reunion this past summer that I was unable to go to. So they sent me a class picture of everybody.
Yeah.
And I went, holy shit. Holy shit. Who are these fucking old people? These people are like, this is a nursing home picture.
I bet some of them do so much stuff over the weekend.
Yeah.
They just don't do shit. They just kind of veg out on Monday, They're at that age.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably so. But listen, I did notice that age 65 came in November, and immediately I started getting more gray hairs, more than I've ever had on my head.
I got a beard trim last week.
Yeah.
And it was one of those deals where I think you know this. I get my hair cut at the office. I have a lady who comes in and cuts everybody's hair. We started doing it during the pandemic, and it was like, hey, this is awfully convenient. We'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's illegal, but whatever. Fuck them. So afterwards, I'm driving home, and it's dark, but I see like in the reflection myself in the mirror, and man, I got more gray in this beard than I ever have.
Yeah.
So
I have a lot of gray in my beard too. I color my beard, but I've never colored my hair. And I'm thinking that, oh my God, am I going to have to eventually?
No, you should do that. Eric Bischoff, be the Silver Fox.
I remember when Eric got his hair cut. You remember that on TV?
Yeah.
And they cut that stripe right down the middle. And I even said he looks like a skunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize that he had all that gray hair. I thought the hair on his head was legitimately black. So when that happened, that actually surprised me.
The next commercial that Nitro takes here, we're going to take one as well.
All right. Can't wait, man.
I know you love commercial breaks.
I sure do. Billy Kidman's go, what did the kick out? What the fuck? Doesn't he know we have a commercial break coming up?
I saw a couple other questions that are ready for us. Brett Patrick wants to know, who was Tony traveling with during this time?
Jimmy Hart, probably. Yeah, me and Jimmy Hart were traveling together a lot.
Did you know he was attracted to, did you know he had an Asian persuasion before you met Kimona, or no?
Yeah, I had heard that. This was after we were traveling that I had heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard he was smack dab in love with her.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to love.
She was very attractive, wasn't she?
She was a beautiful lady. I'm sure she still is. Snickers is your replay sponsor. By the way, if you're in advertising, let me just recommend, you need an in-show element like this. Castrol and Snickers, we've seen ads for both in this program, and we saw it 25 years later. It's still paying dividends, and Snickers bars still look just like that. It's a master class in media buying here, and we're seeing a big set or a big wide shot of the announcers here. Let's track a little bit and see what you're trying to shill.
Dimension, one of the biggest stars in WCW, has been here tonight, and Mean Gene will be talking to him in just a moment. Diamond Dallas Page, United States champion, has given Benoit another title shot, and he and Benoit will collide in 6 days at Super Brawl 8.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup again. I know Diamond Dallas Page and Benoit probably here for the same reason Bret Hart and Ric Flair. They want to see what happens between Hollywood Hogan and Macho Man Savage. This is the time for Lex Luger and Sting just to clean up the mat with the New World Order.
And we have a laundry list of questions that are all going to get answered here on Nitro this evening. What part will Bret Hart play? The Nature Boy Ric Flair, all leading to that main event tag team match.
Well, we talked about Diamond Dallas Page, and he is on hand, standing by with our own Mean Gene Okerlund. Let's go to Gene here on Nitro, live from Tampa. Gene?
Well, Tony, I've confirmed it. Yes, in the house already tonight, Bret the Hitman Hart, and yes, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And as you alluded to, the hardest working man I know of in this great sport. Please welcome United States heavyweight champion of the world, Diamond Dallas Page.
Of course, we think a lot of DDP here on the program, and man, he's starting to really heat up. Of course, 1997 was the year that sort of made him. I mean, that whole feud with Randy Savage was incredible. But by 1998, he is an established player and the U.S. champ. Of course, I think the following year, 99, he would become the world champ. But his growth and his trajectory from being a guy who was, quote unquote, just a manager, and then really not that good. Boy, he worked at his craft, a real success story in wrestling. I don't think like many others. Would you agree?
Diamond Dallas Page is one of the great stories of all time, not only in wrestling, but after wrestling.
Yes.
And what he's accomplished with DDPY and what he has done to help people. Only thing you have to do is kind of just do a Google search of what Diamond Dallas Page has done to help people rebound in their lives. And not only that, he was smart enough to come up with that diamond cutter. And when he would come out and point to everybody and everybody would raise their hands up in the air and then diamond cut with him, it's kind of like what we do today with Jungle Boy, right? You're waving the hands. He was smart enough to come up with something like that, something that everybody could take part in the audience. It's kind of like Scissor Me, right? Today, Scissor Me Daddy, everybody takes part in that, and everybody takes part in the diamond cutter. So he's talking about Benoit here. I like, and he knew where not only that, he knew where the camera was, buddy. See him staring in the camera?
I love that you like the production aspect of this stuff so much.
Yeah.
I mean, you always point out when a guy knows where the camera is and blah, blah, blah.
It's amazing how many people today do not. And regardless of how much you tell them, they do not. And that is, I'm telling you, that is a product of wrestling 1 day a week on TV and then wrestling on the independent circuit throughout the other time.
Where there's not a camera.
Where there's not a camera.
I got you.
Yeah. And Raven stands up. What about Raven?
Now, you've told me before that he was your favorite ECW wrestler, right? Or is it Taz? I always forget. I get them.
Well, I think it's a tie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you told Taz that it's a tie?
Yeah, well, Taz and I talked about Raven the other day.
Did he say what about Raven?
I said, I really like Raven. He said, you do? Do you like him better than me? I said, well, probably back then because I knew him. But I kind of like you better now, Taz. So I guess we can call it a tie. Get out of the ring, Gene!
I don't know why, but do you like him better than me? Cracks me up. So it's a standoff here.
And here we go! An impromptu match that we didn't even expect! Not even box! DDP and Raven!
But Page has to beware of the flock at all times.
Like right now.
And here comes, he called him the henchman, the enforcer of the flock. Saturn is in the ring. Oh, here comes Benoit.
How about that?
Yeah, as soon as they even the score, look at them bail out.
You're talking about mutual respect.
Man, the crowd was popping big for Benoit's run in here. Of course, it looked like we were going to get Raven and DDP. Perry Saturn slid in as soon as the bell rang. There was Benoit. They're going to commercial break. We'll take one too. I'll do it at 106.11.
Okay.
And we're taking this break right now to talk about something that you and I think a lot of, and that's saving money. Of course, I'm talking about our friends at Rocket Money. You've probably heard us talking about Rocket Money for a long time. And the reality is, it used to be called Truebill. So if this sounds familiar, it's because it's such a great company that Rocket bought it. And maybe you fell for one of these scams that we're trying to save you from. Does this sound familiar? Try it free for 30 days.
Wow.
Here's the deal, guys. That's enough time to try something and then completely forget about it. And before you know it, you're paying for a subscription you don't use.
That's what they want you to do.
Yeah. And you do it every single month.
Right.
Well, with Rocket Money, you can change that with just a few quick taps. Now, I've learned the average person has around 12 paid subscriptions. Think about that. If you think you're only subscribed to a handful of services, you probably want to double check. I'm glad I did. Rocket Money was able to quickly identify and cancel all of my unwanted subscriptions. One of them was DAZN, and it was $30 a month.
Yikes.
I signed up for that thing like 18 months before to watch one fight. Totally forgot about it. They got my money over and over and over. I wanted to spend $30 to see one fight, not $500 to see that fight. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is the personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending, and it helps you lower your bills all in one place. It just feels good. Over 80% of people have some subscription they forgot about. Maybe it's a streaming service you just got to watch one show on. Or maybe it's a free trial that you never even used. Well, Rocket Money will quickly and easily identify your subscriptions for you so you can stop paying for the ones you don't want. Here's how it works. You simply find the subscription you don't want and you press cancel. Ta-da! Rocket Money will cancel it for you. No more long hold times with customer service or tedious emailing back and forth. Rocket Money makes canceling subscriptions as easy as a click of a button. And over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. I can't recommend this enough. I love it. I know for sure my family's saving a boatload of cash. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/WHW. That's rocketmoney.com/WHW. rocketmoney.com/WHW. And Tony, I'm at 106.11. We see a bunch of signs in the crowd. Count us back in here in 3, 2, 1, play.
Versus the Barbarian that you will see here live. We're going to take you back Thursday to Thunder. It was
another Thunder skit, dude. How many Thunder throwbacks are we going to do on this show?
It looks like we're really trying to promote Thunder here, almost more than the pay-per-view itself, right?
I wondered, A, are we trying to promote Thunder because it's still relatively new? And maybe that is it. Or B, is 3 hours just wearing our ass out and we don't really have enough planning or time or manpower. But whatever it is, we're just showing a bunch of freaking replays on what used to be the hottest show in wrestling.
Did you ever confront Eric about that?
Yes. He didn't want Thunder, wanted nothing to do with Thunder.
Right.
Didn't want the third hour, wanted nothing to do with the third hour.
Right.
But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate that it is what it is, by the way. But it's not like it was his call.
Well, it's almost sounds like to me he wanted to you know what? I don't want to do this, so fuck it. We'll show you we don't want to do it.
Well, maybe that's it now.
I hope that's not it, but it almost seems like that.
I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, but Eric, I always thought Eric to be a pretty solid businessman with a good head on his shoulders. That doesn't sound like something that he would do.
No.
But it almost looks that way. I don't know. Speaking of badasses, as we've been talking about earlier, talking about how the Samoans have.
Here comes one.
Oh, man.
He ain't here to fuck around.
No. But you know what? In real life,
nicest guy ever.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I'd still.
If you were going to do a home invasion, let's say you're looking for somebody to rip off.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around and break into his house accidentally.
No.
That would not be good.
No. And if you want to, well, I've told you the story that had I been running WCW back then, I would have had him and Rick Steiner be with me everywhere.
Isn't that something? Because now Tony Khan puts you and Sanjay Dutt and Pat Buck.
And QT.
And QT Marshall.
Yeah, he
I don't
has
know, man. I think your plan was probably better, honestly.
Yeah.
Being Rick Steiner.
Yeah, because I would well, this guy doesn't want to do this finish. We'll bring him in here. And he walks in, there's me and Ming and Rick Steiner.
I think it would be funny, somebody trying to tell Rick Steiner, it didn't work for me, brother. I could just see Rick Steiner. You sure?
Exactly.
Might want to reconsider if I was you.
You put that fucking dip in. Oh God. That's exactly what he would do. Oh God.
I think you do.
Yeah.
I think you do want to do that. I think it does work for you, brother.
Yeah. We had Ming's son wrestle for us in AEW when we were in Charlotte. I never will forget because I give Arn Anderson a hard time because Arn and I have been longtime friends. And so we had Ming's son back in Charlotte wrestling for us, and Ming was there. So I went back in catering, and Arn was sitting there with Ming. And I walked in, Arn looked at me, Arn says, "So give me some shit now."
Yeah.
And I knew exactly what he meant.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, both these guys, man. Just hit me. Oh.
And by the way, this would be a big time match today.
Yeah.
Just with the internet knowing what we know about Ming now and his real life reputation.
Yeah.
The idea of them finally facing off would be something that would have a lot more fanfare. I mean, the two. Oh man. Poor Jimmy. Ming pulled it down like that was not what you were supposed to do. Really hit me, brother. Jimmy boy, he was trying to take care of him, but he maybe took too much care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can just watch these guys all day long, man.
Me too. The wooden chair never worked for me though.
No, I don't like the wooden chair.
And the reason I didn't like it is because that was the only wooden chair in the building.
Right. You want to see people get real deal concussions. I mean,
No. I'm saying
head trauma.
I'm saying when he picks up
injury,
when you would pick up that wooden chair, you knew exactly what was going to happen. He was going to wear it like a collar. Okay.
Yeah. Like a collar.
Like a collar.
Hey, you more of a collard green guy or a turnip green guy?
Collard green.
Really?
I love collard greens. Don't you?
Yeah,
when they're cooked really well.
Yeah. I only eat them at G's Country Kitchen, which I've taken you to before.
That's the only place you eat them? Doesn't Megan make them for you?
No.
They stink up
Minnesota, buddy. She don't know nothing about no. She couldn't pick a collard out of a fucking lineup.
And they always stink up the whole house too when you make them.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I've been to my friends' houses, I guess, but no, Megan does not cook that. Okay. If you want Megan to cook something, it's grilled chicken and steamed asparagus and brown rice type shit.
Okay.
And I have that every day.
Yeah, really. And what does she fix you for breakfast?
She didn't cook me breakfast this morning. I went to breakfast with my dad.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to breakfast tomorrow with my dad and Cassio Kid.
Oh,
we're going to look at a piece of property together. And as you know, Cassio's our handy dandy trusted real estate agent. And that made sense.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you didn't know Cassio was a real estate agent?
No, I didn't. I thought he was just a radio guy.
He's a radio guy, stand-up comedian, a podcaster, and a real estate agent. And his wife, as you know, is a rocket scientist. And basically, like a CrossFit persona now. I mean, she teaches I'll get it out. She teaches 3 CrossFit classes a day.
And she's also training for the ring too.
Yes, I think she's had like 10 wrestling classes so far.
Right. Which Cassio has told us when we do our Ask Tony.
Yeah, and I have told him that is a great idea if they were looking for a divorce.
You would be right, sir.
And, I look forward to, I mean, here's the reality. Cassio and I have that conversation all the time. Like, we were at the boot several months ago and it was just quiet. And he just looks at me as we're enjoying our cocktails. And he says, "Hey man, if you think you and Megan are going to get divorced ever, will you just give me a heads up so I can go ahead and get mine going too?" And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Dude, we could have a lot of fun if we were single again." And I was like, "I think we should just get our checks and go home before we get in trouble." Somebody's going to hear what we just said, that it might be more fun to be single and we're going to get ratted out and be in a heap of shit when we get home.
Yeah.
That's where we are now. We used to go to shoe shows and stuff, and now we're worried people might overhear what we're saying and get us in trouble. Is this what, why didn't you tell me this is what it's like? Is this why you didn't come to a wedding? You were just boycotting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the heads up. The pro tip.
Yeah. There you go. Hit him and thank you very much. Hit him with the chair. I was reading the subtitles here.
Yeah. Why do you do that? You just bored?
Yeah. I was, and we had said something about Pope High School on there, which is where my kids were going, where Matt was going to high school at that time. Huh. Odd. Wonder what that was about. Because Heenan said, "Put your crayons away," or something like that. Or anyway, please hand that chair to one of the security guys and let him hit disco with it.
Hey, speaking of crayons, we recently had a discussion in my group chat. I wanted to see if we could get you to weigh in on it.
All right, go ahead.
How many crayons do you think you could fit in a human asshole?
Probably multicolor Crayola 64 count.
You think with proper training, a fella could get 64 in there?
Depends on how long your colon is.
Well, I don't know. How long is it?
I don't know. Doesn't everybody have a different length of colon, or is there a standard length of a colon? Does everyone have the same colon length?
What is the standard? Did you say regulation edition?
Regulation colon.
All right. What is the?
Hey, Rick Martel took the match, by the way. If you're
what is
watching along with us.
Standard length of a colon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! The entire colon's 5 feet long.
Well, there you go.
Now, I didn't mean like, I'm talking about like you got to have the tips of the crayons hanging out.
Oh, I didn't know that. You did.
Like exposed, like
when you're talking about Crayola crayons in the ass, you need to really be specific about
like, sort of hanging out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's different for every person. Right.
Right. So I'm just wondering, I mean, how wide do you think you could get yours to gape or whatever? You think you get 64 in there?
No, I just had a colonoscopy. Just
so like the whole guy had his whole hand up there working you like a puppet.
No. He didn't put his hand up there. He put a scope up there. Have you ever had a colonoscopy?
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, it's not as bad as you think.
Oh, really? What was his name?
The reason it's not as
tender and unselfish.
The reason it's not as bad as you think is that once they put the anesthesia on you, you're done. You're out. You don't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, next time you're going to have one, if you would invite me and Silva over.
No.
What? You won't know what's happening?
I don't invite you and Silva over for dinner. Why would I invite you and Silva over for a colonoscopy?
You're going to need somebody to drive your ass home.
Well, I got Lois for that. Okay.
I just think it'll be funny if you do invite us over, and then when you go to the bathroom later and you take a look after you popped a squat and you look in your underwear and you see 64 different colors
yeah,
scribbled all over your tidy whities, you'll be like, wait a minute.
Well, yeah.
Are Conrad and Silva here?
Yeah, that's what they were doing. They were trying to test it out. There's a reason you've asked me this dumbass question, and what's the reason? Has there been in the news someone has tried to take Crayola crayons and shove them up their ass? Did you hear what I said right there? When I was younger, I used to call crayons crowns, and it stuck with me.
And did you often say that when you were with your family in a restaurant?
Yes.
You should have went to the library and read a book on it.
We could go to the theater as well.
Hey, you know what? Listen, we've talked about some of the randomness of some of these matches, and I think this is actually something that was discussed not too long ago in a little bit of a back and forth discourse with Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan. where Bischoff was critical of AEW programming, saying it was just quote unquote matches. There wasn't as much story.
Right.
And Tony Khan took issue with that, saying, wait a minute, you're the guy who put this guy against that guy on Nitro.
All right.
Here's another example. Talked about it a few times. Ultimo Dragon and Billy Kidman and Yuji Nagata and La Parka and on and on and on. But we just saw Perry Saturn and Rick Martel. And Rick Martel feels like he's from a prior era. And I don't know, man. This has been a really, for as many bad things there are on this show as far as silly, inconsequential matches, we're now exceeding it with pretty fun or interesting matchups.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're
going to take a time out here after. Look at this 1-800-YES credit.
Wow.
Well, let's take one too, Tony. I'm going to do it in 1903. And I'm taking this time out right now to tell everybody how we start our day. Of course, Tony first goes to the bathroom and makes sure he's got all the Crayola out of his asshole. And then he runs to the kitchen sink and he'll get one scoop and a big old glass. And then it's time for AG1. Seriously, AG1 is a regular part of our routine. It's going to be a regular part of yours. And I've been using it long before they were sponsoring the show. My wife does her research. She wanted us to optimize our immune system at the start of the pandemic. We've kept using it because we feel better. You will too. And with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Everything you need to start your day right. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. It's great for your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your focus, your recovery, your aging, all of the things. It's also really good for you in that it contains less than 1 gram of sugar. No GMOs, no nasty chemicals, no artificial anything. Y'all, somehow it still tastes good. It'll help you with your sleep quality and recovery, your mental clarity and alertness. It also works whether you're doing keto or paleo or vegan, or maybe you're dairy-free or gluten-free. This checks all the boxes. Think of it as like your all-in-one nutritional insurance. And don't just take our word for it. They've got over 7,000 5-star reviews. We think it's time for you to try it. Tony, we got a special offer, don't we?
Yes, we do have a special offer. As always, to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/WHW. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/WHW to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
And Tony, I'm at 1903. 1903. Give us a countdown here in 3, 2, 1, play.
Welcome back live to Tampa and live to Nitro as we inch closer and closer and closer to the biggest tag team main event this great Monday night program has ever seen. Sting and Lex Luger together against Macho Man Randy Savage and Hollywood Hogan.
How about this pairing coming out right here, man? Mr. Perfect and Ravishing Rick Rude, but in WCW, so they're Kurt Hennig and Rick Rude. And Rude, no longer with a beard, no longer with a mustache, clean-shaven Jones.
In real life, best friends.
Yes. Hey, let's talk about the Observer. Go ahead.
I want to say this. Hennig spoke at Rick Rude's funeral, which I was there, and gave a great, great speech. Really did. Talked about them going hunting together and up in Minnesota. And then, of course, Kurt passes away years later. That was sad. Go ahead about the Observer.
To say behind the scenes is tumultuous would be an everyday thing, but the situation has become far more extreme than usual. It's impossible to have 100 wrestlers under contract and keep them all happy under any circumstances. It's even harder because the most talented wrestlers are often used in the middle, and the top slots are locked up by people who have the name power and connections, and there's little upward mobility unless one of the stars brings you up to their level, as Hall, Nash, and Savage did with Page, and Page is now doing with Raven and perhaps Benoit. And even worse, when many of these talented wrestlers have been main eventers and big drawing cards elsewhere in their career. After being kept off TV for a few weeks with the idea he was going to be brought back with a major angle, Ric Flair returned, proving he may not be the best worker in the business, but he's still the only one with the key to having a good match with Lex Luger on February 12th in Oklahoma City. So lots written here about guys just being unhappy, and maybe there's too much talent and too many people on the roster. Do you remember thinking at any point you guys had too many guys under contract here in WCW?
I think that's always a problem. I think there's always a problem everywhere. WWE has it. We have it in AEW. We had it back in WCW. There's always talk about there are guys, there are girls that just, especially back then, guys that'll show up, they just go to catering. They have nothing to do. I think it's a problem with sports teams. And I consider us a sports team. I bet you there are problems in the NFL. I bet you there are players who think they should be playing and don't get to play.
Right.
There's always drama in the locker room. And for Dave to write about it like it's, something new is bullshit. It goes on all the time. And therefore, I don't think it's as big an issue as Dave made it out to be. It's only a big issue because who's ever stooging off to Dave is the unhappy person. And boy, Kurt Hennig missed that knee completely.
He's wrestling Bobby Eaton here. So if you've ever wondered what would happen if Mr. Perfect wrestled one half of the Midnight Express, well, here's your answer. Again, we've talked about how there were some less than matches on this show, but there are some really fun sort of what if dream matches, and this is another one of them here.
Yeah. We got some good matches. They don't last long here in the show because of all the services we have to do for the pay-per-view and for Thunder. But yeah, we got some pretty good matches.
Meltzer would say that Hogan was working really hard here. Quote, anyway, that's hardly the big story. Hulk Hogan, who to the best of our knowledge is also not signed, is playing up his power for all it's worth, which is what someone in power should do. While Hogan has always been the focal point of the promotion, he's now booking his TV angles to where there are a million angles on TV, but none of them mean anything. The announcers don't emphasize any of them except for his program with his shadow, Randy Savage, and starting the tease for an eventual program with Bret Hart. Sting, Lex Luger, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hart, and Ric Flair's programs all pale in comparison. The fact Hogan already has the biggest name, yet he gets so much television time, not only live, but they replay all of his interviews to death, give him video features, and the announcers basically talk about his angles and nobody else's. It's just incredibly smart usage of leverage. A few months ago, if Hogan left, it would hurt, of course, because WCW would still be doing big ratings and sellouts every night without him. In the past, when Hogan would leave for a few weeks, there was no difference in the rating. They still may draw sellouts on the road if he left, since the draw, great whether he's booked on the shows or not, but he's positioned things with him not being around, and it would leave a giant hole in the company, and one would think it would make a difference in the ratings. So I guess the story is Hogan's contract is coming near. He's been offered an extension, hasn't quite yet signed. Maybe this is all done as a way to placate him, but we were wondering, why is there so much freaking Hogan on here? I think we have our answer now.
Yeah. Also, when you hear something, I even think, how about Wade
Boggs?
Buddy, he's
friend of Mr. Perfect.
He's something else, man. Friend of Heenan's too, by the way.
What do you think about that? Just a mustache look. Who in wrestling could and should bring that back?
Not me, dude. Stop it.
Well, I was just asking a question, and you got defensive.
Yeah, I do. If people want the mustache back, ain't coming back. That's old school shit. That was old school shit. What do we got here now? What match is coming up next on this great program, leading to Super Brawl, here from the fairgrounds in Tampa? Oh, God. At least it's not Disco Inferno again.
I think this is the Steiner brothers versus Buff Bagwell and Scott Steiner. Am I right?
It might be.
No, it's not Scott Steiner. Scott Norton. Sorry.
We talked about this. What show was it that Buff Bagwell got hurt?
It's
by the
this month,
Steiners.
I think it's this month.
Yeah, I think so. And it was on Thunder, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. I remember I heard from, who did I hear from after that? The guys at Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I don't know who was running PWI at that time. It wasn't Apter. May have been Stu and the other guy.
It was April, by the way.
Okay.
Not February. My bad.
So anyway, they said, "Oh, you did such a great job of covering the Buff Bagwell thing," and I wanted to say, "Go fuck yourself. Leave me alone."
Why would you be mad at him?
I'm not very media friendly.
No shit.
I'm not.
Why?
Because why do you think?
I don't know. I'm asking. That's why I asked.
Because most of them are stooges.
What is a stooge?
They're out to make you look bad. That's all.
Why don't you manipulate them?
I don't want to even fool with them.
So you would be okay with making less money?
If I had to deal with the media, I would truly rather make less money. Me, personally. If that was your job.
So you would rather just nobody watch the show?
No, do you think you're trying to tell me that gets people watching the show?
I'm trying to tell you
these stooge sheets.
Yes,
is the reason people watch the show.
Keeps them interested through the week, Tony.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, on a large basis.
Yes.
Okay, don't buy that.
You're wrong. That's okay though.
All right.
I mean, our show is another example of that. Our show and all these other media things that you're shitting on keep people engaged when the program's not on TV.
I will not sit here and listen to you defend these fucking stooge sheets. I won't do it.
I
don't give a shit.
All of them are stooges?
Pick one. I don't care.
Well, just so you know, your promotion exists because of stooge sheets.
Very good.
It does. Ask your boss, Tony Khan.
Yeah. Very good. Then he can deal with them, not me.
He does deal with them. He goes and does all their media every week.
I choose not to.
Yeah. Well, he probably wishes you'd do more. It would be helpful to his business.
Oh my God. Me talking to the stooge sheets, not going to help business. It's not. It's not going to help business at all. I do this. This is all I do outside of that's it.
And we don't talk about current stuff. A shirt available now at lowestrules.com.
Yeah, I try not to talk about current shit. Okay.
Let's get in trouble. How can we get in trouble today? I'm bored. I want to get in trouble. If I can't get in trouble,
if you want to get in trouble, just take your pants down and show your dick. Okay, but I'm not going to.
Right now?
No, don't do it.
Can we do it after we don't have a studio audience? Because I think there's ladies over there. I don't want to offend anybody.
Do we have ladies with us? If we do, I'm so sorry of
the language you've been using today.
The language that Conrad has been using. I'm really sorry.
What are you talking about? I didn't use any bad language.
Yeah. I hope Brooke's not here. Of course, Brooke is my daughter. She has been legally.
I'd love to see the paperwork on that deal.
Yeah. Well, you're more than welcome to come over here and look at it one day.
Just hold it up to the screen.
DJ Turnup says, let's get in trouble. Tony Reed's rap. DJ will just not let it. Well, he will not let it go.
Well, because it's good.
No, it sucks.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Here's Jamie Joshua ask at a hashtag Ask Tony, where would you go to eat after a Nitro?
A restaurant?
No, we would go right back to the hotel. It was late. It was too late to eat. Now, I do remember when we were in Detroit a couple of times, because Detroit and Greektown and Detroit stayed up very late. We would eat sometime at Greektown, but normally we wouldn't eat for it.
Did you just say Greektown?
Greektown in Detroit, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Great one. Yeah.
Here's one from DJ Turnip. If you ran WCW, who would be your world, US, TV, and tag champs? So let's just say your favorites.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite WCW World Champ.
Ric Flair.
Favorite WCW US Champ.
Who would I put in there? Who was my favorite one to be the
Who's
U.S.
your
champ?
favorite one?
Diamond Dallas Page.
Your favorite TV champ.
Arn Anderson.
Your favorite tag champs.
Steiners.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. That's kind of old school, isn't it?
I like that one.
Yep.
DJ Turnip says, Tony, why don't you have your own entrance music?
You mean in AEW?
And if you could have your own entrance music, why would it be a rap song?
It wouldn't. Although DJ, it should be DJ Give It Up. Okay. Mikey Ruckus made an entrance song for me and Aubrey Edwards for our podcast when we did it live at one of the fan fests.
Yeah.
And I can't remember it, but he did make it. So I don't. It may have been a rap. Maybe I'll get Mikey. I'll get Mikey to.
We'll use it on the show here one day.
Download it. We'll use it on the show one day. Yeah.
Here's one of my favorite questions we've ever been asked, and this is how I knows that we do indeed have the best audience in all of wrestling podcasts. Darren wants to know: did Tony ever shower with Taz?
I did not.
What's keeping you out of the shower with Taz?
The fact that, the fact that I don't take a shower in the building.
You afraid he's gonna bust that sissy ass open, or what's the?
No, I'm not afraid of that. Okay.
I will never.
You are looking for shit to talk about this morning.
Well, because we told the story before, but
what story?
About me going to Alabama A&M homecoming years ago here in town with some buddies of mine. Of course, that's a historically black college and university, HBCU Jones. And
I don't remember this story.
Oh, yeah, you do. Because they're having this random conversation about a friend of theirs who I guess got in trouble and went and spent some time behind the Crossbar Hotel. And our friend says, yeah, he kept doing that when he got out too. Something like that. And we were all like, what? And the guy goes, oh, he kept busting them sissies in the ass. And I was like, what does that? Is he? What is that? But I mean, does that mean that?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to connect all the dots.
Uh-huh.
And so everybody sort of had that same look. And the guy telling the story goes, now, he ain't gay. And we were like, well, no, we're not suggesting that he is, but what could they? And it feels as if. So yeah, I just think of that when I think of you and Taz in the shower. You know, you got to pay your dues.
I don't remember that story, and it's a good thing I don't, because that's a lame fucking story. Okay, we got another question here.
It is not a lame story. Alan wants to know, did you watch The Peacemaker on HBO Max? What are your thoughts? I did not.
I didn't either. I watched like the first episode and I went, yeah, you know what? A guy with a toilet seat on his head. I'm not into that.
Rajiv wants to know, was there a mandate from Eric that announcers could not have facial hair?
No, there was no mandate. Not at all. He didn't give a shit. Unless we got too fat, then he gave a shit.
It's another replay from Thunder, this time 3 weeks ago. It was Rick Martel and Billy Kidman getting in a dust up. And now here comes Rick Martel. And he's going to be taking on Booker T.
Oh, wait.
Rick Martel and Booker T, man. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
That would be the end of a great career.
This is it, by the way. He debuted on the January 5th episode of Nitro, defeating Brad Armstrong. Starts this feud with Booker T. Fails to win it. It's sold out. He does win it right here. So the TV title is about to change hands here on Monday Nitro. Booker T, of course, one of the early adopters for the Breathe Right strip. You ever use a breathe right strip?
Yeah, I have.
I'm a big fan. I use one every night.
Yeah, you know what? I used them for a time, but
you don't think
stopped.
you sleep better with it?
Well, I've got the I use a CPAP, and I got the nose plug for the CPAP. I guess I could use it with the CPAP.
Yeah, try it with it. It's a win.
Okay.
I think you'll dig it. Maybe you'll be in a better mood.
I'm in a good mood.
Really?
Yeah. Can't you tell? Okay, so when does he blow out his knee here?
No, it's not this match.
No. Yeah, but how many matches from now?
Can't be long.
Yeah.
Martel's comeback was cut short during his rematch with Booker T at Super Brawl when he landed badly on a throw.
Whoa.
So 6 days after this,
that's it.
Booker T ends the career of Rick Martel. And I think Booker T ended his own career at the Royal Rumble. He's come out and said recently on his podcast that that's probably the last time anybody sees him in a ring.
Huh. Wow.
I hate that. I was hoping I could convince him to get a little older, pass out twice during a match. I'll get some legends in the front row. You know, we could have made some money.
Wow.
Hey man, if I can't poke fun at it, who can?
Exactly.
Here's the thing too, man. I wish everybody could have. Did you come to any of the practices for that match?
No.
Because there were like 3 that week in Nashville. I mean, there were several in Tampa, but that week in Nashville, they did the full match 3 times. And the practice matches were fucking fantastic. And then the actual match, not as much.
Huh. Yeah. Practice matches are always fun.
Well, you saw Flair that day. He was a ball of nerves.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would be.
I didn't think he would be either because they had done that match over and over and over and over.
And it's not like it was his first time in the ring. I mean,
no.
Does Flair have, it's impossible now, I know. But does Flair have an actual count of how many matches he's had in his career or a ballpark number?
He doesn't.
I mean, we're thinking about a guy that worked every day for years, right?
Yes. Yes. Every day is correct.
Yeah, we're talking about over 300, maybe over 400 matches a year for, my God. So that and the practice, I wouldn't think he'd be nervous either. But there's probably a part of Ric Flair, just saying, knowing that the health scares that he has had, that he was nervous about if he would pull through. I mean,
wouldn't that? He was nervous about that at all. I think he was nervous about not having a good performance. I know that's what it was.
Okay.
Like by the time people, and listen, I understood the concern at the time. Those people didn't know, but Rick had been in the ring 3 or 4 days a week for like 4 months by the time anybody saw that. So he had spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours in the ring. He was fine. I mean, I saw it. You were there. He took the big slam off the top.
Right.
Like, Crockett was there. But he wanted to take a body slam off the top rope. Like, no cameras, just closed set. And we're like, wait, no, do that on the, no. But he wanted to do it. And he did. Cage match, which, isn't going to have every record everywhere, but it is the biggest database that's readily available. Shows 4,964 matches. I got to think you could at least double that.
Yeah.
But we should really think about that because, I mean, if Will Chamberlain's got a chance to knock out 10,000 ladies, I got to think Flair can do 10,000 matches.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We've seen what 10,000 matches can do to a body, too. Because let's face it, I mean, I know Ric Flair is up there in age, but you can tell his body is taking bumps.
Oh, for sure.
Just the way he walks around. I saw him in Baltimore last weekend, and he walked by and he said something. I could just tell the way he's walking. He's doing quite well for someone his age and for all the bumps, but you could tell that he's taken plenty of bumps in his career.
I think the exact same thing, but he says to me, I feel no pain.
Really?
Which is just amazing to me.
Yeah,
Now,
that is amazing.
I know he says that, but I also know he has to have help putting on his jacket because he's still got some sort of torn rotator cuff thing that
Sure.
has given him problems. I mean, since before the show we're watching here in 1998, but he definitely walks like he's got some sort of discomfort, but he says none. And he doesn't take any pain pills or opiates or anything. So I guess I'm not going to say it's like a Mick Foley level because you can tell Mick Foley's hurting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And all reports, Hulk Hogan is really hurting as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he's not the only one. I mean, I've seen a lot of other wrestlers who've, who limp around a little bit and all the bumps. I can only imagine what these kids that we're seeing right now, not only AEW, WWE independently, I can only imagine what they're going to be like in 30 years. God almighty. The stuff they do. Right now, right now in their head, they're bulletproof. I get it. That's the way kids are, but whew. They say you got a bump card, right?
Yep. And then one day it's just out.
Yeah. I've had many, and I call them kids. I'm sorry, but I've had many young wrestlers. I had a number of them in Baltimore come up to me who wrestle on the independent circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for whatever that Celeb Fest that they had this past weekend.
How was that?
It was very well attended. I was very, very pleased with it. Very happy.
Good.
Flair was there. Arn was there. A lot of AEW guys were there.
Were you over with that crowd?
I think so. I don't know. What your.
Did you leave with a pocket full of stones?
I did okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yeah.
Did you eat Jimmy's while you were there?
I did not.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why even go to Baltimore if you're not going to do that?
Okay, so I'm in and out the same day.
I got you. They'd have delivered it. You could have said, John, bring some of that shit over.
You know what? I could have done that, and even Jeff Jones said I could have done that.
I was just freestyling, but I was like, I bet John would have did that.
And he probably would have, but I'm not going to take advantage of a friendship like that.
No, you just pay I know you'd have handed the driver. Well, you'd have looked at me and said, Conrad, give that driver $100.
Well, that's true.
Hey, kid, hey, I appreciate you bringing this. And just for you, if you want a picture and an autograph, $40, I'll cut you a deal. So, Conrad, give him 60 and give me 40, and I'll take your photo. That would have been you handling that.
Mm.
So, how about Rick Martel as a TV champ?
Had a referee bump here.
Yep. And Perry Saturn took one too. The Flock got something to say. Booker T looks like a star, does he not?
Oh,
even just the outfit. I mean, the physique, the outfit. Like if you drew a wrestler, it'd probably look something like Booker T.
Yeah. And I know, how long did his career go in the WWE?
He wrestled last month.
Oh, he's still wrestling.
He was in the Royal Rumble last month.
So he's had a long and very successful WWE career.
Multi-millionaire. Smoking hot wife. Got his life like he likes it.
Yeah.
Big time podcast. Talking head. Gets paid to say shucky, shucky, sucky, sucky, ducky, ducky, whatever. Oh, I mean, he's had like serious business of everyone who came over to the WWF from WCW. Not debatable. Booker T had the best career. And I think when that company went down, people thought it'll be Goldberg, it'll be Kevin Nash, it'll be DDP, it'll be Scott Hall, it'll be Sting, it'll be whatever. It wound up being Booker T, man, and that was awesome. He once again proved all the critics wrong. Just one of the great success stories in wrestling. I mean, I know we don't talk about it a lot because it feels like we're shitting on the guy, but I think it's a great thing. A guy who got in trouble, like big time trouble, went to prison, robbed a Wendy's, and then became this.
Right.
Like that shows you that anything is possible. You just got to have the right attitude and approach to life, man.
Good call for him. Did you notice that because of the interference of the flock, the fans were paying more attention to the flock than they were the finish of the match?
Yeah.
On that? It was.
They're taking a break here, Tony. I think we should too.
Okay.
I'll hit it at 1:46:05, and of course we're going to talk about something that I know you love talking about: your dick and how hard you can make it. Thanks to our friends over at Blue Chew. Tony,
your dick.
How hard is it?
Well, Kit can't scratch it there, Conrad.
I love that. Blue Chew is a unique online service. If you want to get your ding dong real hard, you're in luck. Blue Chew has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night. So plan ahead if you're thinking you might be headed to Pound Town a little later. Or maybe you're just hoping you get lucky. Maybe there's a need. Maybe you're trying to will it into existence. That'll work too. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. How simple is that process? But the best part of all online, Daddy. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversation, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And they're made right here in the USA. They prepare and ship direct. And Tony, let's be direct. We got a special offer to get our listeners ding dong for real hard. Tell them about it.
Absolutely, we do. If you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it, and have better sex, our special deal for our listeners, try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code WHW checkout. Just pay $5 shipping charge. That's BlueChew.com, promo code WHW, to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. We come to you from the Blue Chew Studios.
Tony, show us with your hands.
Huh?
Show us with your hands.
Blue Chew Studios.
No, you know what I mean. Like,
stop it.
BlueChew.com. Promo code WHW. I'm at 146.05, Tony.
So am I.
In 3, 2, 1, play.
And it gives us an opportunity to tell our fans in Baltimore, Wednesday, March 25th.
We're telling them to go to Jimmy's Famous Seafood, God damn it.
CW. Tickets for the event go on sale this Friday, February 20th. That's this coming Friday at the Arena box office and all Ticketmaster locations. And on Sunday, March 22nd, WCW returns to the Crown in Cincinnati. That's for a 1 o'clock afternoon show. Tickets will go on sale this Friday, February 20th. That's right, this Friday, February 20th, for the big matinee event in Cincinnati.
You like matinee shows, Tony?
I'm for them.
You know, every now and again, I just know if I phrase something the right way, I can predict what the answer is going to be, and I like that we have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a special thing.
Special thing. Here comes Mean Gene. It's a special thing with Mean Gene.
This right here is going to be one of the biggest pieces of shit debuts you've ever seen.
Oh, can't wait.
WCW is red hot. Speaking of red hot, he's here tonight in Tampa. He's here tonight on TNT Coast to Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we welcome Bret the Hitman Hart.
All right, so this is not the debut I was talking about, but happens during this segment.
Okay.
So you're going to see somebody come out. But before we talk about that, can we just talk about how shitty Bret Hart's WCW music is?
Yeah, terrible.
Because we're so caught up in trying to make it sound like the Bret Hart song that we are familiar with over in the WWF, the Hart Foundation theme, if you will, that we didn't bother to actually make the damn thing any good or recognizable. So the music starts and there's no pop. But when Mean Gene says his name, there is a pop. And if that song was synonymous with him, they would have popped just on the music.
Absolutely.
Let's take a listen to what Bret talks about, and you're not going to believe how they debut a new character here.
Okay.
Really bad.
He doesn't care if it's in an arena. He holds you responsible for him not being the WCW heavyweight champ, or as he says, the NWO champ. Whether it's at an arena, at one of his speeches, As a matter of fact, I think he's gone so far as to say he'd chase you all the way to Canada to get you because he wants to, I think, inflict a little damage. That's the impression I get.
Well, let me tell you about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is a guy that makes nothing but excuses. You know, he makes excuses about me being the one that I'm the number one reason that he's not the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And that's not true. He says that I'm the number one reason that the NWO has fallen apart because ever since I came here to the WCW, he's had nothing but problems with all his boys. But the truth of it all is Hulk Hogan, you know, and I know that you're just plain scared. You're scared of me and you know it. And you don't have to go walking up some beach looking for me. And you don't have to come to these arenas, look underneath all the benches. And you don't have to come all the way up to Canada because I'll come right down here to America or anywhere else. Because Hulk Hogan, you don't need to call my name more than twice. You know,
he's got a big crying foul, Brett, right now.
Oh, I bet he does. But you know, Hulk Hogan, you've been running and hiding from me for years, and it's time you stepped up to the plate and stepped in the ring with the excellence of execution. And one way or another, you are going to find out, and I am going to find out, and everyone else is going to find out that I am, in fact, everything that I say I am.
Wait a minute. Just a second here. What are you doing here tonight?
First of all, Brett, let me apologize for interrupting you here. I heard the threats Hulk Hogan made to you. I want you to know, Brett, you still have a friend in this business. I watch your back anytime, anywhere, brother. In fact, Hulk Hogan, if you're out there, if you want a piece of this, man, go through me.
Oh, that's Brian Adams in the ring.
Let me give you a hand, brother.
Oh, wait a minute now. Just a second. This man, we know this man from the past. No secret about it. He is none other than Brian Adams. Hey, I know.
He was holding on to Bret Hart, and he held on to Bret Hart.
So that's how we debut Brian Adams. He acts like I'm still a friend of yours. He's got on a buttoned up black leather trench coat, shakes his hand, holds on as Kurt Hennig slides in. Now it's an NWO beatdown. Brian takes off the long black trench coat, reveals the NWO shirt. Listen, I could get the idea of him being an NWO member if the idea is and was and has always been it's former WWF guys making the invasion.
Right.
And as we get the shot of everybody, you know, kicking him and beating him down, there's Conan, who, although he had spent a cup of coffee in the WWF, he was not synonymous with that. Then there's Scott Norton, who I don't think was ever there, nor Buff Bagwell. So I don't know. It feels like at this point, what does Brian Adams add to the NWO?
Nothing.
And here's Hulk Hogan for the 19th time on this show, beating the shit out of Bret Hart.
Oh, God.
Now they're all holding him while Hulk just takes shots at him in his hometown. And here comes Flair, who's popping off the Rolex, putting it in his pocket, and gets a big pop.
Ric Flair come in, and here he goes. Ric Flair coming to the aid of Bret Hart. Ric Flair and Bret Hart taking care of the NWO. Shows how Hogan ran.
Here's some WCW unity to answer the NWO.
You're not kidding, it is. And what a match Bret Hart and Ric Flair had just a short time ago. Well, they may have had their ABCDs of the war, but WCW is taking the fight right.
So Ric Flair and Bret Hart beat up everybody. Meltzer would say the so-called Big Angle took place on February 16th, Nitro in Tampa, which turned out to be a really lame angle where he saved Bret Hart from the NWO and the two shook hands. Lame because the crowd didn't care as the angle was flattened by the debut of Brian Adams, who nobody knew. And if they did, they'd have cared even less.
Right.
Or cared about turning on Hart and desperately needed a Flair and Hart interview to explain why they were feuding a few weeks ago and now Flair saved him. Although there's basically little or no chance of Flair leaving, and to the best of our knowledge, he's not signed his contract, although he is working under a new 3-year deal with substantial raise. Flair himself has brought up to Bischoff and at least one other, maybe more in management, the idea of retiring and working for the company in a PR fashion, going to ticket sale openings, etc., which is crazy to think that he was talking about retiring 25 years ago. Somebody who else was probably wishing he was retiring, J.J. Dillon. Take a listen here.
Booker T and Rick Martel, and the outside appearance of one Saturn.
That's right, and I've asked them to stand by, and Gene, I'd like them to come out at this particular time. As you know, at Super Brawl this weekend, Booker T was originally scheduled to defend the television title against Saturn.
Are these guys going to come on out now or later?
No, I want them out here now to get a clarification.
And if somebody can pass the word in the back, I'd like to. Here he is.
Jesus.
As I said, at Super Brawl this weekend, Booker T was originally scheduled to defend the television title against Saturn, but in light of what we saw earlier tonight, and in an attempt really to be fair to all parties, there will be a change in the lineup at Super Brawl this weekend. Now, there will still be a television championship match, and the new champion, Rick Martel, will defend the title at Super Brawl against the former champion, Booker T.
All right, whoa, wait a minute. Just a
guaranteed title shot. How's that right to me? And besides, I just beat him. All right, hold on. Give me a chance to finish. In an unprecedented move, Gene, after the match takes place, the rematch between Martel and Booker T, and we know who the champion is, the champion will have to come back a second time at Super Brawl to defend the title against Saturn. You'll still get your title shot.
That might be a bit much here for these two gentlemen, because one of them will have to actually wrestle 2 times in one night. I don't know if that's fair.
Gene, this isn't about what's fair. This is about what's right.
Thank goodness for you. Yes, he is the chairman of the executive committee, and he laid it all out. Some major changes in Super Brawl next Sunday live from San Francisco. This, of course, is Nitro. We're live on TNT. What a night it is indeed. Stick with us.
All right, thanks a lot, Gene. I tell you that it seemed as if Rick Martel was the only man that was not pleased with that decision, guys.
So there you go. We got our match set for Super Brawl. We haven't set up a lot of other matches, but we got that one. And I love that iconic theme we heard in the background, Eddie Guerrero. And Eddie Guerrero followed by the Cruiserweight champion, Chris Jericho. They're both heels at this point. You want to talk about a badass tag team.
Wow.
It's about as good as it gets right there. Goodness gracious.
Jericho wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey. And I felt, just by listening to that thing and Martel coming out late, I think I may have been wrong. I think that whole thing was thrown together at the last minute.
Yeah.
It sounds like, JJ, all right, JJ, you run out, you got to make this match. And okay, we're going to send out. It really sounded haphazard, and it didn't sound well at all.
Let's do some questions. We got our live chat going with us. By the way, if you want to be a part of a live studio audience here, you can join us each and every week when we record. You also get bonus episodes, 2 pieces of bonus content exclusive to the WHW Patreon. Can't hear them anywhere else, including ad-free shows. And at the same time, you also, whenever Rampage is taped, you get to do a live watch along with Tony Schiavone. Lots of fun perks at patreon.com/WHW Monday, including being a part of our live studio audience as we see Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit walk to the ring. Process the tag match we're about to see here, guys. Guerrero and Jericho against Malenko and Benoit. This is big time stuff, and as we all know, they're headed to the WWE sooner rather than later. Alan says, I'll take Tony performs show tunes again. Well, you won't do rap. Anyway, you'd bring back show tunes?
I don't know. The only show tunes I really like are from My Fair Lady.
There you go.
And from Oklahoma. And from Les Mis. And Phantom of the Opera.
So all of them.
And from Rent.
What's that? 1,000? What's that song they sing with all the notes?
1,024. Yeah.
Did you ever see the Team America version of Rent?
No.
Did you not?
No, I did
Have you
not.
seen Team America?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
There's a Teen America version of Rent.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Everyone has AIDS, 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 AIDS.
Oh God, where is it? I've got to watch this on YouTube.
Just Google Team America AIDS. You will love it.
Oh my God.
Rent, by the way, is fantastic.
Well, and in Rent, everybody did have AIDS. They did.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
But that's what makes a parody song fun, right?
Yes. And not only that, Rent was so good and the music was so great. So they could have had any disease they wanted. It's fine with me. Just sing.
You know what? I'm going to, maybe we should have you sing it. Nah, maybe not.
No, don't.
That's not a PC song.
No, it's not.
I thought it was funny. And
What is PC anymore? Nothing is.
I don't know.
Everything's off limits.
This ain't it.
Don't play this song. Don't play this song.
Okay, Tony.
Don't play it. It's the last thing I need to hear.
What?
Don't play it.
Okay.
Hey, there's Dean Malenko in the ring.
He is in the ring. Just so you know, I sent you a link so you can watch it later.
Okay. Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko.
25 years ago.
Wow. We were just in El Paso. There is an Eddie Guerrero mural there.
Did you see it?
I did not see it. It's kind of a small mural, I believe. I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
And did they, at one time it was kind of falling apart. Did they revitalize it? Did they repaint it?
Hadn't been there. You were just there in town and didn't bother to go by. Why are you?
No, it's not that I didn't bother to go by. I've got work to do when I'm there. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Holy
I live
shit.
in Huntsville. I'm not there.
Yeah. Holy shit. Look at Eddie.
Meltzer would say, for all the reasons anyone can imagine, most of the mid-card talent is unhappy, but now so more than ever. Eddie Guerrero actually went to Eric Bischoff trying to get a release from his contract, but was turned down and actually snapped at, although Bischoff did later apologize. However, with the exception of Rey Mysterio Jr. and maybe one other wrestler who I don't believe has actually signed his new deal, virtually all the wrestlers are under contract for nearly 2 more years. And it's doubtful Bischoff would release them, since most would wind up with Titan Sports. None of the Mexicans have been happy for all the reasons everyone would figure. But an added reason is that, at least as is planned, Juventud Guerrero is supposed to lose his mask to Chris Jericho at the Cow Palace on February 22nd. That's Super Bowl. There are a lot of problems in October leading up to the Havoc match, where the plan was for Mysterio Jr. to lose his mask to Eddie Guerrero, which ended up not happening when Bischoff had a change of heart after a lot of pleading by Mysterio Jr. 30 minutes before the show, apparently Guerrero wasn't happy about losing it, being a family heirloom, and his father had wrestled for more than 20 years, never lost his mask, and had agreed to do so, being led to believe they'd build it up for a few months and him getting a major focus push and a decent length title reign before dropping it. And it would mean something when it happened, perhaps in a mask versus hair match with Jericho, since Jericho's hair would create a lot of interest as well. It would also give him time to work a simultaneous program in Mexico where he would lose the mask and it would be a huge news story. Well, he figured wrong, as she showed up to Nitro on February 9th to find out he was supposed to lose his mask on the 22nd and felt double-crossed. His big promise push wound up being a loss to Kidman, a win over El Dandy, and the angle with Jericho, and that's all, folks. There are forces supposedly trying to get the Super Brawl finish changed, but the odds of that happening seem far lower than the one against Mysterio and Guerrero. The feeling in WCW is they don't understand, and worse, don't respect Mexican wrestling traditions and the Mexican talent themselves. Not to mention, there always seems to be heat with Conan, the latest being over him missing 3 shows in Texas because of a neck injury from taking those Scott Steiner moves on every television show, since most of the top guys are unwilling to take that move. Talking about the SSD. Things got even worse on the 16th. The Malenko Guerrero Benoit group feel that no matter how hard they work and how much crowd heat they get, there's no upward mobility. The resentment of, after being told for so long to be patient and wait their turn, then seeing Bryan Adams show up on his first day and immediately get an angle with Bret Hart and the NWO, combined with having wrestlers who just arrived, and even though they're talented, are getting no heat and being put on TV and on road shows and higher profile angles, Malenko went to Bischoff this past week asking about the Cruiserweight tournament, which they shelved a few months back, saying he didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel and wanted to know if there were any future plans for him. And Bischoff told him that he and the others were great workers, but they don't put asses in the seats.
Oh.
Which, when word got around, made a lot of people hot because they have elsewhere and have never gotten the chance in WCW to be positioned to do so. Internally, this has all become a almost confirmation of the long said proviso that the only way to get a top spot in WCW is to go to the WWF and be made a star there. Then WCW will make you a main eventer when you come back. And that's it. Malenko gets the win.
Wow.
It's a hell of a match with a lot of great performers, but Eddie Guerrero's unhappy. And then Malenko's unhappy. Juventud Guerrero, who was not in the match, is unhappy. Do you remember any of this talk or chatter or anybody being unhappy?
No, again, I didn't hang around the locker room, hang around the guys. I didn't. I was completely unaware, immune, and more than that, just didn't give a shit. Go. That's how I've always felt. Always felt if you're not happy, go. And they did, and they had great careers. Good for them. Good for them.
Well, I'll tell you what else is good for us, and that's taking a commercial break. We're going to do one last one here when Dean Malenko gets this tap out on the replay.
I've had enough. I've had enough of you, Texas. Ring the bell. Your winner, right there, Benoit and Malenko. Heck of a team. What a tandem they are, fans. When we come back.
So there it is. We're going to take this break here. I'm going to do it at 28, Tony. 205-28. There we are. And of course, we're taking a break now to tell you about saving money. That's what I love to do in my real life. And I'd be glad to do it for you too over at savewithconrad.com. Maybe you're looking for a lower monthly payment. We can make that happen. Maybe you're looking to pay off your debt faster. Hey, let me ask you this. If you're carrying a balance on your credit cards, you probably get that on your statement where it says if you make the minimum payment, it will take you, and I've seen some of these, Tony, where it talks about taking 30, 40 years to pay that credit card off. And it's because the interest rate is crazy high. It's not uncommon for us to see folks with a 28% interest rate on their credit card. What's your rate on your card? Whatever it is, you know you can do better. Here's something else you may not realize. The interest you pay on your mortgage, well, that's tax deductible. But the interest you pay on your credit cards is not. Well, let's recap. If you could get a lower monthly payment and you could get rid of your credit card debt with a cheaper interest rate, and at the same time get a greater tax deduction, why wouldn't you do that? That's what we can help you do at savewithconrad.com. We can also show you how to skip your next 2 house payments. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this. Credit scores go down to like 350 points. But nobody ever has a score that low, really. But we can actually help you get approved with credit scores as low as 580. If you got a 620, it's a breeze. Some of your banks or credit unions in your town, though, man, they won't even give you the time of day unless you've got a 700 score. But FHA has loan programs for you. The trouble is, a lot of those banks and credit unions don't even offer FHA. Now, don't worry, we don't do subprime loans and never have. That's not what this is. It's a government-backed loan that helps people who need a second chance. FHA is perfect for you. It can even help you buy a house with as little as 3.5% down. Maybe you're a veteran. You don't have to put any money down. The point is, no matter what you're looking to do, we all have the same goals in life, right? We want to stop renting. We want to own something for ourselves. And by gosh, one day, we want to pay it off. SaveWithConrad.com can help you do that. We don't say no. We say not yet, but here's how. You need a plan. Let us help you make that plan at SaveWithConrad.com. You can also give us a call toll free at 888-425-0105 or send me an email directly, Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. I've got an A+ rating with the BBB, and I encourage you, if you're not sure, hey, should I really talk to the podcast guy about my mortgage? Go to ConradReviews.com. You'll see like 1,300 reviews. Well over 1,000 5-star reviews. Our average rating, 4.72 stars. One of the most recent ones, Nathan S. up in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, gave us 5 stars. Said, great communication. Always felt like I was a priority. Well, thanks for your business, Nathan. And you were a priority. Glad you're saving money with us. Glad we could help. And we'd be thrilled to help you too. Get a quick quote right now. SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 65084. SaveWithConrad.com. Tony, let's get back to the show. I'm at 2:05:28 here in 3, 2, 1, play.
Savage, Sting, Luger, and you. Stay with us. Welcome back, fans. We are set to go with the much anticipated tag match that we signed this past Thursday on TBS and Thunder. And I do understand that we are going to have some sort of an interview before we get to that match.
So here comes Bischoff. This is not your main event, but it is Eric Bischoff. And he's going to come out and talk about Kevin Nash's legal fees. And he, too, is going to talk about everything happening with Kevin Nash and with Nick Patrick and call it, just like Nick Patrick did, a right-wing conspiracy theory.
Oh.
Of course, that is the buzzword that people are using. You heard Nick Patrick reference it earlier about even our president. This is the era where Bill Clinton went on TV and held his finger like this and denied getting a beach. And so when all the Democratic folks and pundits had their media appearances, they would say, this is a right-wing conspiracy. So-and-so saw this and so-and-so said this, but it doesn't matter. And of course, we know how it all happened. So we're leaning into that a little bit here, which is why we hear references to the president and phrases like right-wing conspiracy theory and all that stuff. Hey, if you were the president, don't you think you deserve a beach every now and again? Just throwing it out there.
Well, I hate to say this, but he probably back then, knowing how a lot of guys think, there was probably a lot of people that didn't see a problem with that. They never came out and said it. It's like, oh, well, how can you do that? Yeah, but behind the scenes, they're going, good job, Prez.
Well, I mean, in the scheme of things, who gives a shit? I know that, that's going to fire people up, but I'm just saying, hey, if that's our biggest issue to talk about in America, we got, I mean, aren't there people hungry? Aren't there wars and stuff? And aren't there kids and dogs and animals and healthcare? There's a lot of other stuff more important than, oh my God, he eject.
Yes, I agree. It's all, God, I want to get into politics. It's all political theater, and it's all trying to trump up charges against your opponent to get him thrown out. That's all it is. That is all it is.
Let's do another question here. This one's from our man, Darren. Darren, I want to give you a gold star because, son, you are bringing the heat with these questions today. Darren wants to know, Tony, how many Jimmy's famous crab cakes could Tony fit in his butt?
One.
Well, they are pretty big.
I'm not sticking those in my butt, buddy.
Where are you sticking them?
I'm not sticking in my mouth.
In your mouth?
Yeah, man. What the hell?
Well,
I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat them, not sticking my butt. You dumbass. What a dumbass. Get rid of him. What a dumbass. I'm going to eat them crab cakes. And I'm going to eat them crab pretzels. And I'm going to eat them crab egg rolls. All right? I'm not going to stick them in my butt. The hell? Where'd that guy come from? What kind of dumbass question is that?
Do this voice the rest of the show, please. By the way, if you would like to see how many crab cakes you could stick in your ass, this is definitely not a commercial, but jimmysfamousseafood.com, they'll ship them to your house when you use our promo code WHW. And then you really push yourself. See how many you could fit in that old bottle.
No, don't do that, you stupid son of a bitch.
Oh, sorry.
Don't eat them.
I wouldn't eat.
Holy shit. How many stupid fucking people we got on with us this afternoon? How many dumbasses are here? One? Well, two, because Silva's here. Damn, sons.
Oh, man, we just lost Darren. He just had to say goodbye. He says, I got to run, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Clean house and put some crayons in my butt. Later. Shout out to him to start and stopping by.
Yeah.
We got to get him on the show, man.
Yeah, we put him on the show. It's enough.
By the way, this is the 7th highest rated Nitro ever.
Really?
We're almost preempted for the Westminster Dog Show.
Huh.
Nitro set its all-time record with a 5.10 rating and a 7.49 share. The record broke the mark set on August 25th, also unopposed, which was a 4.97 record, while a record average audience of 3,694,000 homes is actually impressive. A lot of folks were disappointed. WCW just 2 weeks earlier had hit 4.93 going head to head. And they thought here, since it's totally unopposed, they would do better with Hogan and Savage announced versus Luger and Sting. They were hoping to hit close to 6.0, but the Olympics stopped that from happening, according to Dave Meltzer here.
Yeah. Goddamn Olympics.
Let's do some questions here. Bad Money Slim. Hadn't heard that name in a long time. Shout out to BMS. He says, how awkward was the verbiage from Brian Adams to Bret Hart before the NWO attack? The hesitation, the delivery, it all felt really awkward and forced.
It was, and Bad Money Slim, you're right on target there. And one of the reasons it was is that once he walked in the ring, there was a realization with everyone that no one gave a shit. And all of a sudden that sinks in. Wrestlers draw from the fan reactions.
Yes, they do.
And when the fan reactions are bad, a lot of times it comes off badly.
Tony Schiavone's booster seat wants to know, Tony, which move would you rather take? Bret Hart's sharpshooter or Hulk Hogan's leg drop?
I'll take Hulk Hogan's leg drop.
Means you made more money. That's why you picked that one.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. What do you know what some of the payoffs for Hogan were back in, in the
stupid, nasty.
Yeah, back in the real.
You want to know? Are you looking for some details?
No, I didn't know if you don't have to Google it. I just didn't know if you knew.
I got it. I got it handy, baby.
Okay. So what was his payoff for WrestleMania 3?
Oh, no, I don't know that one.
Okay.
I thought you meant the WCW stuff. Now, we'll tell you this. I've heard it was $1 million.
For WrestleMania 3?
I heard he made $1 million for WrestleMania 3.
Okay. Doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
And by the way, he earned every nickel.
Damn right he did. Yeah. I mean, the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, that's the reason it was filled up.
I mean, I've even seen Bobby the Brain Heenan say that his payoff from WrestleMania 3 meant for the first time in his life he had a retirement set up.
Wow.
It's not a 401k in wrestling. There's not a pension in wrestling. But WrestleMania 3 helped him get one set up. What is that about, Tony?
That was about the payoff for WrestleMania.
Anytime we talk about payoffs from WrestleMania, you're going to play that song? I would love that. Here's another. Since you won't read us rap lyrics anymore, would you at least tell us what you eat for breakfast?
It depends on the day. A lot of times I eat the Belvita crackers and a banana. This morning I had a bagel with cream cheese. That's about it.
That was great content. In all seriousness, Tony, please give us the age in which farts are no longer something safely assumed.
With me, it's probably like in my 50s, I think.
Jason says, how much do you think this storyline, along with all the NWO storylines, were hurt by the fact that almost everyone the NWO feuded with ended up joining them eventually?
Repeat that again.
The idea is a lot of the folks who are against the NWO wind up joining them. Like we would see Lex Luger join them.
Right.
We would see Randy Savage join them.
Right.
We would see Sting join them. So most of these folks who are battling them eventually join them. You think that hurt the angles?
Yeah, I do. Because you have people turn as a surprise, but if you do it too much, it's no longer has the effect. There's the Hogan leg drop.
Of course, we recently talked about Fort Wayne here on the program, and the lovely Bree Olson came up. Mike Seal wants to let us know some Fort Wayne fun facts.
Uh-oh.
It was the location of Macho Man getting bit by Damien. Bruce Wayne is a descendant of the city's namesake, General Anthony Wayne. A Rougeau knocked out Bulldog's teeth here. And Fort Wayne once had a mayor named Harry Balls. So it's good to know.
Yeah, it's some great facts. Thank you very much.
I would love to. I mean, Harry Balls is a pretty fucking solid mayor name. You disagree?
No, I think it's pretty cool.
What do you think what his platform would be? Manscaping?
Manscaping? Deodorant?
Look at that. Look at that. The cotton candy vendor walked right in front of everybody and held his camera, stopped, pulled his camera out of his pocket, and took a picture of the ring and kept walking again. I never seen anything like it. Seriously.
Yeah.
2 hours and 15 minutes right at the end of this show. Go watch it if you're not watching along with us. The goddamn cotton candy vendor. I'm like, why is he even out there? The show's over. Why is he still selling? Oh, he's not. He's trying to take a picture in front of everybody. We got a Pier 6 brawl to close here. You know you're going to start screaming like a dumbass. Let's try.
Flair, Hogan, Sting, they're all in the ring.
Down and out goes the NWO. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to say that WCW is in charge. WCW is in charge.
What a showing by Team World Championship Wrestling.
And look who's standing.
Flair.
WCW.
Yeah, Flair, Hart, Sting, Luger. WCW has kicked butt tonight. We'll see you Thursday on Thunder and Sunday at Super Raw.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why, but Bobby Heenan just yelling at the end. Oh, yeah. Hey, before we wrap up, I got a few things I want to shill and plug, so stay tuned for that. But did you see, I sent you a few, and you don't respond to my messages at all unless it's about recording a podcast or money.
Uh-huh.
But I sent you clips of a Gorilla Monsoon podcast. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I saw it and didn't listen to it. No.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Okay.
By the way, I want to remind everybody over at adfreeshows.com, we're doing something pretty fun, and it's happening next week, Thursday night, February 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Tony and Conrad live.
Answering your questions.
Adfreeshows.com. It's an Ask Tony and an Ask Conrad live. But who's going to be the third man? Well, our man, Cassio Kid, is invited to host this ball-busting affair. You don't want to miss it. February 23rd over at adfreeshows.com. Also over there is where you'll see conversations with Jim Crockett Jr.'s brother, David Crockett, about Jimmy's Red Books. From the beautiful penmanship of J.J. Dillon, from the genius mind of Dusty Rhodes, we are breaking down February of 1985. January is in the archives. We go day by day through Mr. Crockett's personal day planner. It shows everything about the business, the towns, the gates, the matches, the angles. It's remarkable. It's lifting the velvet rope in professional wrestling in a way it's never been done before. We also talked to somebody who you've probably never heard before. Mr. Gary Juster sits down with us over at adfreeshows.com to talk about his time in the AWA, the NWA, WCW, Ring of Honor, and now MLW. By the way, before we get out of here, if your business targets 25 to 54-year-old men, no better place to advertise than right here with us on What Happened When. You've heard us do ads for some of the same companies year after year after year. You want to know why? Because it works. And with our super targeted audience, there's very little waste. Go to advertisewithwhw.com now and find out more about advertising here on What Happened When. But our favorite thing to advertise, our YouTube channel. Tony, we've been really working on our YouTube. This is going to be a fun year with a lot of bonus stuff over there. You want to make sure you don't miss any of the action. Hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications bell at WHW on YouTube.com. That's WHW on YouTube.com. And of course, for all of your merch, and there's a ton of it, including, we don't talk about current stuff, over at lowestrules.com. There you see, we got the big motherfucker tee. Woo! In little or medium-sized motherfuckers, just for big motherfuckers. I said to myself, self, now is a t-shirt, you simple bitch. He got that dog in him, Lowest Rules. You like light, you like food, you a lie, and of course the infamous bug tattoo All available now over at lowestrules.com. But Tony, I can hear her fussing in the background. Looks and it sounds like it's about that time.
And she's going to love this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Huntsville Crayon Contest of WCW. Dave Silva will face Corey Ryan Forster and Shuley in a three-way. The idea is to hit your opponent so hard that crayons fly out of your opponent's butt. The one who gets his two opponents to drop the most crayons is the winner. First, Corey Ryan Forster. He will use his favorite weapon, laughter. And he's trying to make Shuley laugh, but no crayons are falling out. Corey Ryan Forster apparently is still not funny. Next, he's trying to make Dave Silva laugh. And of course, everyone makes Silva laugh, so it's work. 4 crayons drop out. 4 for Corey Ryan Forster. Next up, Dave Silva will use his favorite hold, the burrito burp. And now, 4 crayons fall out of Corey Ryan Forster's butt. And that's funny. The first funny moment in Corey Ryan Forster's career. None has fallen out of Shuley's ass. We'll try again. Not a surprise, as Shuley is a tight-ass shithead. Now it's Shuley's turn. His favorite move, a kick in the nuts, or as he calls it, the bris. First, a kick to Corey Ryan Forster, and 3 fall out. So now he is 1 away from tying, 2 away from winning. Shuley with a bris on Silver, and Silva, 10 fall out. That's right. But they are kindergarten size, 2 inches in diameter. So here's the score, final score. Corey Ryan Forster, 4. Dave Silva, 4. Shuley, 13. Actually, with the size of the crayons in Silva's butt, we'll give Shuley a 23. The winner of the Huntsville Crayon Contest is Shuley. And that fits. He's the size of a 10-year-old kid. We're desperately out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. Join us Wednesday on Westwood One, but Mondays we come to you on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday, and of course, adfreeshows.com. Can't believe this is real, but Wooo Wings, your very own virtual restaurant concept, is now open, and fans can enjoy the legendary flavors and world championship wings by ordering with their Uber Eats or Postmates app. Wooo Wings is now open in Nashville, San Antonio, Jacksonville, as well as Huntsville and Tuscaloosa, right here in Alabama. Many more locations coming soon. As a virtual restaurant, Wooo Wings is looking to partner with existing restaurants in major metro areas. Tell your favorite sports bar or local restaurant you want Wooo Wings in your town, and to visit RicFlairWings.com for more information on how to become a partner. But if you're in Nashville, San Antonio, Jacksonville, Huntsville, or Tuscaloosa, hop on your Uber Eats or Postmates app and look for Wooo Wings and try the only chicken wings worthy carrying the name of the 16-time world heavyweight champion, Wooo Wings. Be sure to check out RicFlairWings.com to become a partner.